All right, we are live for the Saturday Mega Slate on the Pump Fake Pod. We got two guests with us today. Tyler and Rob are back. Welcome, guys. Glad to have you guys here to break down the slate.
Yeah, a few more. Only a few more. You just said to me before we were live that we might even be in conference tournament season very soon. So embrace it. Saturdays I usually lose, but I'm good with that. I'll pay a few cents or a couple units to watch some good ball today. And slate's pretty great.
Yeah, and this is the last Saturday of February, guys. The next Saturday we have is going to be March Madness. Officially, we're going to have like bubble talk, bracketology every single day. It is the season. 'Tis the season where place your PTO now or forever hold your peace.
100%. Yeah, I already got my my conference tournament week vacation put in and the tournament, so I'm ready for that week off right there. It's gonna be beautiful. Nick, how goes it?
Same old shit. I haven't won in like fucking feels like a month, so I'm sure today we'll go very well.
Nah, today's our day.
You just bet more, and then you'll find the winners. That'll work.
Well, good. I have 11 bets, so I'm sure some will fall.
All right. I guess we'll just hop right into it. Early slate here. Anything in the 11 o'clock window? I know we got a couple of good games. I've got some bets in this window, but I'll let someone else kick it off if they got something.
What did you guys think of this Indiana Penn State line? I know we have a way better game at noon, but I faded Indiana during the week with Nebraska. Now they're on the road. I feel like Penn State's defense is a really bad matchup for Indiana. I know they're on the road in this game. Penn State coming off the huge win that they ultimately probably didn't deserve over Illinois earlier this week. I did not want to press the button with Indiana, but I did, just because, again, I think they'll kill them inside with their size when it comes to the glass and scoring. It's just about Penn State has not been knocking down the threes like the team they were last season. Their shooting for the perimeter has not been anywhere near as good to kind of make Indiana pay where they've given up a lot of shots. I think Indiana will cover this game and potentially win on the road. I don't know how good they've been on the road this year. I probably should have looked at that, but I like the matchup for them, even though they got killed the last time they played.
Yeah, I mean, this line is suspiciously short, right? Where it's kind of pushing you to wanting to take Indiana as bad as they've been, especially at Assembly Hall, which you got to win your home games to kind of boost your reputation. If you don't, then everybody just is going to call you trash because winning on the road is a tough feat. Ace Baldwin versus Gabe Cupps in this game is going to be just a dogfight. I'm really excited for that because you have a scrappy white dude who's going to be up in your grill versus a guy who is really athletic, really scrappy, and isn't afraid to potentially get 3 fouls in the first half. I think we could see some heat, especially with some desperation on both sides, but particularly on Indiana's side. So I'm looking at that under of 151. And I'm thinking that this thing could soar under that number. I think this is maybe set 5-6 points too high. And we could even get a total half from both teams where it's like 26-28, and that wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, some of these teams have some terrible shooters, like Mgbako. Mm-hmm. I bet his points the other night. It did hit, but he took a ton of shots. The dude can knock down a three to save his life. These are two teams that could definitely throw up a lot of bricks.
Yeah, Mgbako shot 17 times in that game. Wow.
yeah, he's been
at his threes. He made his second three with like a minute 20 left in the game.
He's been disappointing this year for sure.
Yeah.
Indiana as a whole has been disappointing. I mean, I don't care. I don't like IU, so this is fun to see. But yeah, they've been a huge letdown. Woodson's definitely fired, but this is, I don't know. Like you said, Penn State's offense has kind of been a little man lately, but they just put up 90 on Illinois. I feel like they'll probably do a little bit of regression with Indiana coming. So I mean, they do have a 2-game road trip coming up, but they were just on a neutral site against Illinois anyway. So They haven't really been home. IU revenge game, and nobody's betting Indiana. Nobody's betting IU after, especially after Penn State dismantled them earlier this year too. So I would lean Indiana, but I am not putting my money on Indiana. Rooting for you though.
Yeah, I got nothing in that one. I stayed away. That game is gross.
I do have Baylor plus 2.5 against Houston today. I really haven't. I mean, Houston is obviously great, but I've noticed that the first half they come out, they dominate, they do the thing. Second half they kind of just let teams back in it. It gets to become a good game. They've been letting up like 40 points in the second half to teams. Baylor's a great offensive team. They can play defense too. I really don't like backing them at Foster Pavilion because weird shit happens here every fucking time. But I'm going back to it. I'm backing Baylor again. I think they're going to catch Houston. I think this is have they played yet this year? I don't think so. But yeah, this is a spot for Baylor. I think a little short spread at home. Houston's off of the big Iowa State win. Now they're going to hit the road again, where they've played tight games. 5-point win against Cincy, lost to Kansas. 4-point against Texas. So I think this is a good spot for Baylor to catch a home dub here and take down Houston.
Yeah, this is my biggest bet of the day, or tied for my biggest bet of the day with another game we're going to talk about here shortly. But I think there's a number of things going on here. So Elliot Money just mentioned it in the chat. LJ Cryer return game to Baylor. I mean, they're going to be on his ass from the jump. It's going to be one of those things. He touches the ball, he's getting booed, then the boos go away, then they come back when he touches the ball again. And man, this is just going to be a dogfight. Baylor is playing some of their best ball of the season right now. They finally put it together under Drew, which we kind of knew was going to happen, but it's nice to see it actually culminate and actually take place like that. And worst comes to worst, I think we'll always have a backdoor opportunity in this game where it's maybe hitting a 5-point Houston lead. And you can hit a garbage time buzzer to save your ass. But I don't even think we're going to need a backdoor here. I think Baylor's just going to win outright. And I think they're going to be in control from both tips. So I'm ready to go here. I love Baylor.
Yeah, I mean, if Scott Drew doesn't get thrown out of that Iowa State game too, they win that one convincingly too until the refs took over. So Baylor's pretty damn good at home. So let's go. I think this is the spot. Charleston, Towson. Anybody have anything in that game or no CAA action early?
I faded Charleston earlier this week. I'm good. I already paid the price. So I don't need to go back there.
The line kind of stinks, but yeah, it's tough to fade Charleston in general. Missouri, Arkansas, anybody? I'm on Missouri, but no. Okay, I like Missouri here. I've kind of been on this team a little bit this year. Arkansas, fresh off the road win at A&M, now they're coming home against Missouri. Missouri's been feisty lately. They had Mississippi on the ropes. 3-point loss, and then stormed back against Tennessee and had that really close too. I think this is a nice spot for them. Arkansas has Kentucky on deck, and then Missouri. Also, Dennis Gates just motherfucked the whole team in his post-game press conference last game for not drawing fouls and rebounding and whatnot. So I think this is a game where they get up for it. It's only 5 points. It's kind of short for being Missouri. I think they probably win this game. They finally get that SEC win. Arkansas is not as good as they have been. They've covered 2 games in a row. I mean, Missouri's not good either, but I think it's Arkansas can't be laying points here, especially 5 points. So give me Missouri after getting motherfucked and playing Tennessee and Mississippi real tight. I think they get it done today.
Yeah, dude. You go ahead, Tyler.
No, I was just going to say, can't bet it. Nope. These two teams, they're just super flat right now.
Oh, 100%. I'm asking to just be pissed off watching this whole game, but I'm doing it. I've been in Missouri.
I think you're on the right side, though, Trev. Like, Bud Walton Arena this year, I don't know if you guys have been watching any of, like, Arkansas's home games or anything Arkansas related, but Bud Walton just kind of feels like, I don't know, just dead. Like, I don't know if it's filling up all the way or fans aren't just excited as they've been in years past, but this has been one of the better venues over the years, and it just kind of feels like it's been neutered or something. And teams can come in here and win. Is kind of the point I'm getting at. And Mizzou, they're as desperate as anybody. They just got motherfucked, like you said, by Dennis Gates, the same way Patino did to St. John's, and we saw spark out of St. John's the game following. They came out and put it on Georgetown, and I don't think Arkansas is very far away from being the caliber of Georgetown. So, hey, I think Mizzou getting 4.5 points, they're going to be live in this game. That's a good spot.
You're definitely right about that. I mean, this team has been Arkansas team has been a complete and utter disaster. I know they lost pieces, but this team has been terrible this year. I don't blame people for showing up a little bit less and not showing the same type of interest in this team, because this is not what you should expect from Muss's team. So I definitely don't. I think you're definitely not getting the type of home court advantage you usually would from this team. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if this was like Kentucky or Tennessee showing up at home, I think it's probably a little bit more energetic and lively. But 0-11 in Conference Missouri, I don't think anybody gives a shit to go to this game, students included. So we'll see how that goes early. Anything else in this early window, or we can just skedaddle to the next one? Perfect. Let's skedaddle. I have nothing in this 12 o'clock window, so whatever you guys got, feel free to roll with that.
The only one ugly ones.
The only one I have is Florida team total over Vandy. I know me and Tyler were talking about it last night. It fits the system that I've adopted from Tyler of the fast, top 50 pace team versus bottom 300 pace team. But I also don't really trust Vandy to score that many points. So I'm just going to take Florida's team total over 83.5. I think they're going to dominate the offensive glass. Obviously top 5 in the country with that. They play super fast. Their offense is clicking, and Vandy's defense is horrendous. So Florida at home, I think they can run it up. So over 83.5 for me.
Yeah, Vanderbilt's just dog shit. Stackhouse was fired at the end of the year, right? They already said that.
I don't know if they've said that. But yeah, I think they're going to call his extension short. I mean, that extension was a questionable one to begin with, and he made it kind of look like, oh, maybe something's happening after last year. But man, this is just a tough school to recruit to, as kind of where it boils down to, and the whole SEC as a body is getting a lot better too, and now you're adding in Texas and Oklahoma. Good luck. That's basically where DePaul's at, is kind of where Vandy's at, and I think we haven't seen the bottom yet for that team.
Yeah, I mean, they've been feisty, but they're disgusting to watch. They don't even use that home court as an advantage either. It's just a weird fucking place to play, and they just still get worked at home.
Well, it looks like a middle school play. I mean, why are the fans that far back, and why is the court elevated? I hate the elevated court. I hate when it's like the Final Four, the championship game, and the players, when they're rushing the court after a buzzer beater, have to like do a fucking stair stepper to get onto the court and just to celebrate with their teammates. And what are we doing here? I don't want basketball games played in football arenas. I couldn't even imagine paying like $3,000 and not being able to see half the game because you're like lower than the actual court, and then you're behind a backboard and 30 rows back.
I guess I would say the only reason I say I like it is because I associate it with it being a massive game. Otherwise, it's clearly just a massive event where they want to put get as many people in the building as they can. I would love, honestly, just to like say I did it, I would love to sit in the last row of like NRG for a Final Four game, just to be able to say that I was there and have that ridiculous photo to be able to take of the court.
It's like the Carrier Dome. Like I've always wondered how it looks watching a game. Like it's just such a weird setup for Syracuse.
And no AC for so many years. I don't know if they've ever put AC in that building, but they didn't have AC up until like 2014. And it's, what are you doing? I know it doesn't get too hot up there, but
I don't even remember this, and I don't know if you guys ever would, but when the Toronto Raptors first came to Toronto, they played games at the Rogers Center where the Blue Jays play, and it was like half. The photo is crazy. It's like there's half stands, and then you're watching. You could also like watch from the seats and like some of the upper levels. It's the most ridiculous visual of all time.
My God. Well, do what you got to do, I suppose. Anything else in this window? I mean, it's kind of not much of anything.
I've got two really gross ones. I've got William and Mary plus 8.5 going up against Stony Brook. I've watched the Stony Brook team a number of times. Yes, they have a record over 500, but they are just not a good team. They are really unathletic, and William and Mary, in their own right, pretty awful. But to be laying essentially a spread where you got to feel confident about a 12-point winner from Stony Brook. Otherwise, it's backdoorable throughout the entire thing. If it's just hovering around 11, you can hit a 3 with 5 seconds to go, and all of a sudden you're covering 8.5. So you got to kind of feel comfortable that Stony Brook can win in that 12 to 15 range, and I don't even know if they can win in the 5 to 7 range. So I'm all over William and Mary for a decent sized bet there.
I almost put that on my card actually as well. Stony Brook's 3-point defense is pretty brutal, so there's a decent chance to stay inside the number there.
Hell yeah, I think I might tail that, Rob. I got nothing in that window anyway, so I need something. So fuck it, we'll ride.
There is another one. Let me pull it up here. Actually, I lied. That one's a different window. We can continue.
All right. Going into this 1 o'clock window. Got some bigger games here. BYU, Kansas State. Anybody on the Mormons or the Tang Gang in this one? Nope. I'm on Kansas State. I'm addicted to this fucking team. They just ripped my heart out with the TCU game at home, which they were up, I think, like 10 points, and then they blew that, managed to come back from a 8-point deficit again, just to lose buzzer 3. Jameer Nelson, 25% 3-point shooter too, and he took the most circusable shot, and then of course it goes in. But I think this is the spot Kansas State gets it at home. BYU on the road has not been the same team. They are 2-5 on the road in conference play, it looks like. They lost to Oklahoma State lost to Oklahoma. They beat WVU, so congrats on that. But they've been outside of home, they have not really been that great. Kansas State's got good defense. I think they're going to show up for this one. They have West Virginia on deck, so they're not really looking ahead to Kansas or anybody big like that. Brigham Young. BYU does have Kansas on deck, so this could be a little bit of a look ahead spot for them. But I like the Tang Gang here. I think they're going to get it done at home. Defense is going to step up. Tyler Perry, again, the X factor. If this guy's going to turn it over 12 times, we're fucked. But he can also have a good game and do what we did last week. They were up 10, and then they just fell apart. So I'm going to bank on them to play a full 40 minutes here at home against Brigham Young. Why do I keep saying Brigham Young? BYU, who's been suspect on the road in conference play. So let's go Tang Gang. Cats by 1 million today.
I bitch about this Kansas State team a lot online because they're super frustrating to watch, but they have been kind to me, actually. I had them against Texas. They did lose, but cover. I'm really disappointed in the way that BYU's been playing, especially on the road. I thought this team was, especially early in the year, had really high expectations for them, and they've, like you said, been super flat on the road. I know, Rob, you were saying about that Indiana-Penn State game. This one gives me vibes of at least a first half potentially under. This Kansas State team, even at home, the shot making is a little better, but it's not all that great. These teams are going to, of course, be firing away from 3. And I do kind of feel like I trust their defenses a little bit more right now, especially with BYU on the road. That kept me from playing K-State in this game. I like BYU's defense a little bit, especially against these 3-point shooting teams. But I didn't have the confidence to really go to anything here. I just hate how BYU's playing, but I don't want to keep risking backing this Kansas State team when I think they're just not playing very cohesively this year at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, 100%. And I mean, they have been hit or miss, but I think they got to come out after blowing that TCU game. I think they show up with a big home game here today. But to your point earlier in the year, yeah, we were on BYU. Just their team total was free as air. 110, 105, 93, 95, 96, 85. Like they were a wagon earlier in the beginning of the year. So yeah, their offense is definitely taking a hit and stepping up the competition here. But yeah, Tangang, or I'm off of them for the rest of the year if they burn me again one more time. The next big one, Duke at Wake Forest. Wake Forest laying 2. Is anybody on Duke here, Nick? Or no, you don't bet your team, so.
No, I think it's quite the opposite here. I think everyone's on Wake.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
hard. It's hard being a Duke fan, man. Everyone hates us.
Oh, it's so hard being a Duke fan. Only so many championships.
I get so much hate every week, man.
So much success. How can I manage my weekend knowing that my team's going to potentially win a lot of games? Oh, sucks.
It's rough.
Well, anyways, regardless, Wake Forest pours it on here, man. This is how Wake Forest finally gets in the dance. This is over the hurdle. This is where, like, we kind of saw it, and I think Steve Forbes is very similar to Fran McCaffrey, where the first few years of his career or tenure at Iowa, it was like, okay, this team's getting better. Okay, this team's getting really better. And then they go to the NIT championship game, and everything feels like it's turning. The next year, they go to the NCAA tournament, and they never really look back after a whole decade. Well, Steve Forbes is kind of having that same kind of trajectory right now, where they got a little bit better in year 1, a little bit better in year 2, and here we go. Like, this is the game you've got to win if you want to get in the dance. And I think they're going to make a statement. This is a good team. The foundation's been laid. I'm all over 2.5 is where I grabbed it. And I even got a little bit of a discount at -105 as well. So I think we're not going to have to worry about this. I think this is probably in the 7 to 8 territory is where Wake Forest wins this game.
Yeah, I really like Wake too. I bet them on the money line as soon as this line came out. -125. I played them. The thing, like, you look at the matchup from last week or 10 days ago, these teams played. Carr and Reed have to stay out of foul trouble. I think they have a much better chance of doing that being at home in this game. Their offense was also they were super inefficient from the field. They did not shoot well. If Carr and Reed can stay in this game and do a better job defending Mitchell and Filipowski, which this team struggled with, if you have that size with those two on the floor a little bit more often, because I mean, if you look at Carr played 28 minutes, Reed played 15 minutes in that game. You can't have that in this particular matchup. I think they'll have that being at home. I think they shoot a lot better, and if they keep these guys on the floor, defend a little bit better too. I really like Wake. Like you said, I think this is a key spot for them to get back into the conversation, and as well being at home, I think helps their offense from an efficiency standpoint. I mean, they're also they're still very good defensively. They were not in this game a couple weeks ago, but on the season, as efficient as they are offensively, they're pretty damn good defensively. So I do like Wake quite a bit on the money line, or even laying a couple points.
Yep. I'm essentially the same as you guys. I'm on Wake here as well. Duke's been rolling, covering 5 straight, winning 5 straight. That Florida State game, they should have, I don't know, Jared McCain went nuclear, and they still kind of squeaked it out. That game was tighter than the score was. But yeah, Wake was in that game at Duke until the end there. Kind of lost it. But yeah, 14-0 at home. Duke 6-3 on the road. They've been vulnerable when they leave Cameron. So this is and Wake is just so much better at home offensively. So it's going to be a Wake Forest dub. I
missed this actually. They're also 10-3-1 ATS at home. I was when I was looking into this game, that was surprising. 14-0, but 10-3-1 ATS at home. So very good.
Yeah, and it's also not like we're catching Wake at its peak value, right? Yeah. That kind of tapered off a little bit in past couple of weeks, but they're still a great team, and they've still been performing at home. So I like that we're not getting the overhyped underdog favorite home team like sometimes we do. Like, for example, Michigan State at Illinois. I don't know if that was last week or 2 weeks ago, but same kind of number, -2, -2.5. They absolutely poured on them, and that was very similar spot with a a Michigan State team that needed to pick up a big time win to get in the dance, and here we are again.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. The loss to Duke, loss to Virginia. Yeah, they beat Pitt this week, but definitely not the team that people had a lot of respect for earlier on in the year. So I think that's a great point.
This is also Duke's third road game in a week, so it's got to get tiring third time in a row. Granted, they were in Florida State, then Miami. Now they're heading to Wake, but still, it's a lot of traveling and time to be away from home. So I think they're going to be a little dead here today. This is all I have in this 1 o'clock window. If anyone else has anything else here.
The other game I have here is, and this is actually a game that I'm going to be excited to watch, and it's on like a nationally televised platform, but North Dakota State. I love this rivalry. It's a great rivalry in the Summit every single year, and this is Dave Richmond season. This is one of my favorite coaches in all of college basketball, not just for the mid-major ranks, just in general. I think North Dakota State gets better this time of year. Right now, they're sitting at a 500 record. I think that's going to be surpassed handedly as we kind of end the season here. And I think they potentially make a run in the Summit League tournament as well. And North Dakota, I like kind of fading teams that are overachieving a little bit. I mean, don't get me wrong. They've taken some serious strides comparatively to where they were winning like 3-4 games the past couple of years, is how it felt anyway. But North Dakota State's going to be ready to go here. North Dakota is now the hunted in this game, and I think it's going to be a slaughter.
Yeah, I got nothing in that. I'm going to tend to agree with you right on that one.
And Elliot Money says they already are drunk in Fargo, and I 100% believe that because I've been to Fargo. And let's just say the Dakotans, like, same with Iowa, like tailgating season. You're up at 5 a.m. Your first beer's cracked by the time you hit the floor with your legs out of bed, and I love it.
I saw Will even said this in the chat too. I did lay the points with Furman. They did lose to Wofford last time they played, but now they're laying 7.5 at home. I think this is a prime spot for a little bounce back here for them because Wofford's pretty reliant on the three, and they've got a great 3-point defense, and they should be able to score pretty efficiently offensively. So I laid those points with Furman. It's out at 8.5, I think now, but
I like that side too. I almost bet 7.5 with you, and Pegues for Furman has been unconscious. I mean, he almost won that Sanford game on his own at Sanford, and then they blew a 5-point lead with 35 seconds left and didn't score another point, which is tough. Yeah. But yeah, I like that side.
Anything else in this window? I know we got Iowa, Illinois. Wait, Nick, you're on Illinois, aren't you?
Yep, I laid the 9.5 with Illinois. I think Kyler, you're on it as well, right?
Yeah, I'm laying them too.
Yeah. I mean, I love games with Iowa in them because, you know me, I love the fast-paced teams. Tends to just soar over every time. But, yeah, I really like this Illinois team. I think they've been pretty impressive this season. Even when Shannon wasn't there, they were still continuing to play some good ball, and he comes back, and, you know, they kind of picked up where they left off. Obviously dropped a couple games to, you know, Michigan State and Penn State. But, yeah, I think their defense is going to be able to get this cover for us. Obviously, Iowa has a very good offense, but defense isn't really all there. This Illinois offense is very good. They're going to be able to get a lot of second chance opportunities as well. They're top 20 in the country in getting those. So I think they'll be able to, you know, take advantage of Iowa's interior defense and get second chance opportunities.
I'm not one that makes a lot of money laying this kind of number with favorites. I'll be honest, I lose in a lot of these spots, I find. But I think this is the perfect time to fade Iowa. You talk about, I would assume between the four of us, we all watched the Michigan State and Wisconsin games they played. Wisconsin in overtime, Michigan State like late. This game these are two games that took a lot of energy, I think, out of this Iowa team, and played very, very well. But I think a lot like we saw with UConn against Creighton midweek this week, this could be a team that's out of gas. Like they played some very back and forth tough games, and Illinois is just a terrible matchup for them. Like They
Mhm.
they can knock down some shots with Shannon and Coleman. Coleman's even shooting really well from three this year. But they also have a great interior defense, and they're going to dominate what, like Nick said, with the glass, and they're also going to have a huge advantage at the line. I don't see Iowa staying in this game. I know they played very well the last two nights, but I just feel like this is a team that could be at a gas, get into another big game for them.
Yeah, I think you guys nailed it in terms of down low. That's where this game's going to be, I think, handily decided by Illinois. Like, Ben Krikke is a turnstile down there, and Owen Freeman, he's a baller. Like, that's going to be one of the best big guys in all of the country, maybe even next year, as soon as next year. But other than that, like, when you look at Illinois and just kind of who they have down low, and you are going up against Ben Krikke, Patrick McCaffrey, and Peyton Sanford's going to get switched down there quite a bit. Illinois is going to get some buckets. They're going to get some second chance points, and it's just a matter of whether or not Iowa can hit shots on the road, which hasn't really been, a consistent standpoint from them. So I'm with you guys. This is also, like you said, Tyler, a number where a lot of people get in trouble because -9.5, -10 is one of the least profitable lays in all of college basketball. At the same time, I sometimes you just got to buck the trends and say, you know what, this makes sense. So I'm not faulting you for that at all. And I think that's the right side.
Basketball brand play. Yeah, Illinois should dominate down low. I mean, Danger and Hawkins has been really good too. Like you said, he's had himself a good year. So we'll see. I fucking hate Illinois anyway, but I'll be rooting for you. I got no dog in this fight. So go Illini. Anybody have any
chat? Rob is emotionally hedging, dude. if the handicap is right, the handicap is right. But if Iowa wins, I'm not pissed.
Yeah, if they win this game, holy shit! Like this would be
that would be fucking impressive, man.
Illinois,
and then they get Illinois at home in a couple games too. Like,
yeah,
if Iowa wins this game, we're starting to talk like bubble, and I'm pumped.
Yeah, for sure.
Bubble talk, and I'm fucking amped.
I'm ready to go.
I guess go Illinois. Sorry, Rob, but yeah, we got coin on Illinois today in the group. So, anything for Washington, Arizona? I feel like a lot of people are going to be liking Arizona, fresh off a loss.
Is that really 16.5 now?
Yeah, it's 6. It was 15.5. I just looked to make that that banner, but yeah, 16.5 now. It's getting bigger. 168.5 total. Arizona's finicky as hell. At home is where they dismantle teams, but they just got punked by Wazoo the other night. Like, like this feels like a smash spot, but I don't want any part of Arizona anymore.
I thought about laying the 14.5 last night. It was on my sheet, and I went back to it. I'm like, I don't need to do this, but I thought about it, and at 16.5, I definitely would not lay it now.
Yeah, and like I went back and kind of reverse engineered this line because obviously it's a ton of points to lay, especially after a loss, but we know how great Arizona can be. At the same time, against this kind of number, and I ran it against like -15.5. Over the last 3 years, when Arizona has lost a conference game, the following game, they're like 2-12 against that number.
Wow.
They win in the 10 to 11 range and maybe a 9-point range, but even just kind of going down past this year when they lost to Wazoo the first time, 15-point win against USC at home. They were against USC. Then they lost a 3-point game against Oregon State. They won by 9 against Oregon the next time out. And now we're kind of looking at this Wazoo trend, but even there was a game this year as well where they won by like 50 after losing to Stanford. So obviously a lot of talent on Arizona's side, but this is a ton of points to lay. And even if Arizona blows them out, they might not cover the number. So it's kind of tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a massive fucking spread. I don't know. I don't trust Arizona. I have a ticket on them to win the Pac. Parlayed with Purdue to win the Big Ten, and that loss against Washington State the other night was brutal because I think Wazoo is now ahead of them in the Pac.
They are.
So I need them to win, but yeah, fucking 17 points is crazy for like a Washington team that's like, Washington is good. Obviously Arizona's better, but 17 points is fucking insane. I wouldn't lay that number.
Yeah, it's a gigantic. You're just taking Arizona in a pissed off spot, but they've been kind of the last couple of years down the stretch. They get kind of a little suspect with these lines and whatnot. So I want no part of it. They probably win by like 13 or 14 and screw everybody. So just what it is. We do have Catfishes in the chat. He's asking about St. Francis at Stonehill. Some are saying game of the day, but this is an ugly one. But just looking at it, I would kind of lean Stonehill. They went to Lemoyne. They played them tough. They lost by 8. Lost by 3 against Merrimack, and then 3 games ago they lost to this St. Francis team as 3-point dogs. Now they are laying 2 points at home. St. Francis just lost by 11 to Merrimack. It feels like a revenge spot, but I don't want to bet this game whatsoever. Best of luck to you, Dilly. Rooting for you with whatever side you go for.
A 3-25 team laying points.
It kind of tells you all you need to know.
Shit, dude. Oh man,
St.
I might
Francis
just ride that on a principle.
Not a principle. Yeah, best of luck to you. You got this. Was sparkling ice caffeine? What was that?
Yeah, someone in the chat has said I wanted to hold up for him.
Oh, dude,
it's just an energy drink.
Waters.
Yeah, it's just it's like an energy drink.
Okay.
But that's the type of people we need in the chat asking about Stonehill and fucking this type of slate because these two teams are.
Yeah, those are my kind of people, dude.
But we need those. We need those people.
Shout out to you. Win that one. That'll be props to you if you sit and watch that whole game too on the Saturday slate. Props to you, my man.
Yeah. That might not make the TV on Friday,
bro. What's hilarious is like Baylor Houston's gonna be wrapping up at that time, and Wake Forest Duke is gonna be on, and this dude's gonna be over here sweating Stonehill versus St. Francis.
I love it.
Just like 10 beers deep at that point.
I mean, there's only one place that game's on, and it's Flow Hoops, and I ain't paying for that shit.
Oh, is it really? That sucks.
I don't know.
This is actually NEC front row, man.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
You're right. I did watch NEC front row on Thursday. Actually, I was watching Lemoyne and LIU. I love watching games where you just know on the other side of that wall is a daycare. I love the gyms like that.
Yeah, it's local YMCA.
Yeah.
What was that? Is that St. Francis Brooklyn last year with the divider? Where
the divider.
You had dodgeball on one side for gym class, and then the D1 kids.
Oh man, bro!
That's why we do it.
Coppin State's arena is the Physical Education Center. I wish I could make that up. It's a PE class.
That rocks.
I've watched a Coppin State game of Coppin State. That gym doesn't look that bad. I didn't know
it doesn't look. They got the big windows. Like I was really impressed, but the name just doesn't do it justice. You gotta come up with something.
No,
I don't know. I think the gym, they should just call it gym, would be fucking awesome. It's what
LIU's was a wellness center. I remember. That's why
Steinberg Wellness Center. They've had some shit go down at the wellness center this year. The elevator, the broken hoop.
Yeah,
there was something else that happened.
They showed up late to the game.
Yeah, the buses never showing up on time. Yeah,
you gotta love basketball to go to school in Brooklyn, New York. Really gotta love it.
I guess the last 2 other games in this window, we got West Virginia and Iowa State. Anyone? Iowa State's off that loss, aren't they? I believe.
That total seems pretty big. 144.5. I didn't look into this game really at all, but that just looking at it as it is, it kind of seems sizable for these two teams. But
yeah, I'm just looking at Iowa State the last 10 at home against TCU. They had a 144. It went under 71-59 W. On the road, the 144s have gone over for them. BYU and TCU it went over. So. I think off of a loss, they probably clamped down West Virginia today.
Yeah, if those are 144s against BYU and TCU, I'd be understanding, but West Virginia, I don't really see it as much.
I mean, all you have to do is stop Raekwon Battle, and then you've stopped about 75% of their offense. So I think Otzelberger will know that. I think this is probably the big spread you lay. Not Arizona, Iowa State. This is probably the one where they just clamp them, but I don't want to play a number that big. Scary shit.
And kind of to Tyler's point, I don't know if you guys watched that Houston game, Iowa State Houston game, like half to half, but in the first half, it felt like they might score 30 points total, like the entire way through is how it was tracking. And then in the second half, they scored 87 combined. And it was it wasn't like there was a free throw, just craziness outset. Houston actually had quite a few at the back end, but it was like Iowa State was hitting threes to stay in the ball game. And then just kind of trading bucket after bucket after bucket. And shout out to TJ Otzelberger, man. I mean, this identity is changing for them, where they've gone from like the Virginia of the Big 12 to like, oh, now they can play offense. And even Tamin Lipsey is turning into like a 3-point scorer when he was like Xavier Simpson at Michigan, where like people didn't even want to guard him at the top of the key because they weren't afraid of his 3-point jumper last year. So much progression, and this number is reflecting that progression. But yeah, it's an interesting spot because it's a high number just based on what we know about these teams' reputations. It's reputation wise.
Yeah, I like Iowa State. Their offense is with Gilbert. They've changed. This team's changed a lot from last year, and I think they're definitely a better team for it.
Yep.
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, they were just trouncing teams, but that was fucking Lindenwood and Green Bay and shit. So I mean, it was kind of like to be expected, but they've kept it going for the most part in conference play. I mean, their offense looks way better than it did last year, and their defense is stifling. So they're I feel like they're kind of a nice sleeper team for March. I think I looked like a week or so ago, and they were 30-1 to win the Natty, which kind of felt like a big number still for how good they've been playing, but. The
unfortunate thing though, Trev, is now they're no longer the sleeper team. Like if they keep winning out, like they're a top 10 ranked team in the country, and they potentially are going to have like a run in the Big 12 tourney under them too. And because I mean, Kansas City, where the Big 12 tourney takes place, is less than 2 hours away from Ames. And so Iowa State fills it up, but Kansas fills it up, and that's like the notable one, but Iowa State fills it up just as well. And I do think they're going to make a run. They're going to be potentially winning the Big 12 outright. And then all of a sudden you're going to have a bunch of people that are just like, Iowa State can win the Natty. And then they're the first round upset.
True. Having expectations is far different.
It's so hard. Yep.
Well, you say that like Lipsey's definitely been better this year, but he's also not. I also feel like he's a guy that from watching that Houston game too can also be very, very cold too. And he's a guy that handles the ball a lot. So you put a lot on his plate, but they now have better, more consistent scoring. And I think that's massive. That's the key difference for them this year for sure.
Yeah. Next game in this window, I actually saw, who was that? There we go. Will was asking about UMass and St. Bonnie's here. I'm seeing Bonaventure UMass -4.5 for me. So
I looked at this one. The only thing that kept me off of betting UMass is they put teams on the line a bunch, and their 3-point defense is vulnerable against the St. Bonnie's team, who's top 30 in 3-point shooting percentage. So Bonnie's has big advantage there. So if they get to the line and can knock down their threes, I think they can stay in this game, keep it close, and maybe even win it outright. UMass has the offensive rebounding advantage, but it's not like Bonaventure's terrible at rebounding either. So it's not a gigantic advantage. So I do kind of lean UMass, but not enough to bet it.
Same boat.
Yeah.
Yep. Leaned UMass in this one. Moving on. Anything else in this? I think we pretty much did damn near every game in that window, but anybody have anything else, or just move on to 2? Perfect. Next game, Cincy is at TCU. Catching 4. I see 5 now, so they're up to 5. I lean Cincinnati. I didn't pull the trigger, but they've been feisty on the road. They've been hanging in with teams. TCU just off. They had the week off, didn't they? So they've had a week off, and their last game was that buzzer beater win.
No, they lost to Tech at Tech on Tuesday.
They played Tech this. I don't even remember that game.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they played really well in that game. Honestly, I think Tech.
Yeah, it was a close
Tech
loss.
unit.
Yeah, TCU lost by
Oh
one.
yeah, I remember this game. Yeah, okay.
Man, I really like this TCU team.
They don't die. Like they can be down 20, but they'll come back. They never die. They're always in a game.
And they're better than last year because and like I know it's crazy to say when you had Mike Miles and you have still the core that you have right now, and then Eddie Lampkin was thrown in there. But when you're dealing with Eddie Lampkin, like choosing just when he wants to play and when he doesn't want to play, and also he was injured for part of the year, and then Mike Miles at this time last year had like the torn Achilles or like the whatever injury it was to his lower body, where it's like, is he coming back? What's their identity? Like this team hasn't had any of those injuries, knock on wood, and they feel just like the most cohesive team that Jamie Dixon has had at TCU in a long time. And so I'm a believer that even though from a talent standpoint they might not be as talented as last year on paper, I think they're a better team this year and far more dangerous this year.
I do like TCU as a team this year. I would agree. I'm on this last draw with Cincinnati. I bet them to cover. What I really like for them is obviously being able to hold TCU's offensive rebounding in check, and they should be able to kind of kill them on the other end of the glass because they're obviously Cincinnati's a great rebounding team. And TCU, although I love them from an offensive and scoring perspective, losing a guy like Lampkin has definitely hurt them defensively this year, especially on the interior, where Cincinnati's been really strong defensively inside. I think this game is going to be pretty low scoring. Now, TCU is a very fast-paced offense, so I wasn't completely tempted to play the total, but this is kind of a Cincinnati team I'm willing to back one more time in a pretty decent matchup for them, but this team's shot making really, really bothers me a lot. So that's why I say that this will be the last time I see a good spot to back them. And if they can't get it done in this particular spot, I'm moving on. I think I tweeted during their game like last week, like the only tournament this Cincinnati team is going to be making is the CBI. Because again, offensively, this team doesn't do enough, but I think the matchup's good enough that we could find them be a little bit more efficient.
Yep, I'm with Tyler. I'm on Cincy as well. For the exact same reasons, I think it's just like a decent number that we can get them at. And yeah, like he said, their offense hasn't been anything special, but the rebounding is going to be, big for them. Obviously, TCU is still a good rebounding team, but like he said, their defensive rebounding, offensive rebounding is spectacular. So I think it'll, they'll have a little bit of an advantage. And yeah, like I agree too. I think it'll be an underplay. I think like even though TCU does play fast, both of their defenses hold the opponent to just run out the clock. And I think they're going to force each other to take tough shots. So I think it's a low scoring game.
And I didn't even mention this. Like Cincinnati is actually a pretty decent road team. BYU, Texas Tech, UCF. Those are solid road wins. So I'm not that scared of being on the road here.
Yeah, that was my whole one of my angles for just I might pull the trigger on Cincinnati yet, but a 10-point dog at BYU. They won. They lost by 3 at Baylor, 5 at Kansas. They lost by 6 at West Virginia, but they've beaten Texas Tech and UCF.
Yeah.
I mean, every game has been within 5 points on the road. So I think this is a good spot for them too. But their offense is just anemic. When you look at it on paper, they shouldn't be winning games, but they find a way. They're tough team. So
again, it's Day Thomas just taking horrendous shots.
Yeah. Since he's got Houston on deck on the road and TCU's got Baylor also. So could be maybe a little slumpy game, just both teams looking at for big opponents. So I would lean, who knows, maybe I'll fire on Cincy. South Carolina at Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is laying 4 now. Could be wrong. Nope, they're back to 3.5. So they're laying 3.5. I kind of liked Ole Miss in this one, but I don't know. South Carolina's bit me a couple times this year too. They show up, they ball. Ole Miss is they've had some big wins, but they've also had some questionable losses. So didn't want to touch this game, but kind of like Chris Beard at home in this one versus Lamont Paris on the road.
This is a revenge over for me. I took it last time they played each other. I think it was the same exact number. I think it was around 137. And they had 74 points at half and then just didn't fucking score at all in the second half. I think South Carolina won 68-65 and missed by two possessions or whatever. But yeah, I think both of these offenses are very efficient. Obviously, South Carolina is a very, very slow-paced team, but they'll be able to get second chance opportunities on the glass. They're going to win the rebound battle for sure. But I feel like every time Ole Miss plays a team that should just like soar under, like Mississippi State, like we've seen both of those games be actually quite high scoring. It was 170 the first time around and then 154 the second time around. Like Ole Miss games, especially at home, they can definitely score. Obviously, South Carolina has a very good defense, but Miss is top 10 almost in 3-point offense, so they're going to be letting it rip from deep, and I think they're going to get some shots to fall more so than on the road last time they played. So I think we can definitely get to the 140 mark in this game. It was on pace last time. I can't believe it didn't fucking go over, so this is just a revenge play for me.
Yeah, and I will say, like, these are two teams that for weeks, everybody kind of knew the downfall was happening. I'm glad I got pretty much right on the ball with where I started fading both these teams, ATS. South Carolina, the past two games, they got smoked by Auburn. They got beat outright at home by LSU. Now they're going on the road again, and could be 3 straight losses for them. Ole Miss, one of their last 5 is what they've won. And that one win was a 3-point win over Mizzou. So I kind of feel like Ole Miss's value has completely reset where, if they would have won, some of those games, they would have a really glossy looking record right now. And the roles could actually be reversed where they could be the ranked team in this matchup. But I think Ole Miss is in a good spot value wise right now. I still think they're kind of like down that bubble type team, but they're probably going to be in the playing game is kind of how I see it going. So I'm all over Ole Miss. I don't want to bet it just because I'm not completely bought in, but that's definitely the side that I had in my bet slip. I'll say that.
Yeah. Yeah, I never got there either, but this is also one of the ranked road dogs versus unranked home favorites. So,
oh boy.
Well, that's what I think has been hitting 62% the last year. I heard like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So you can do with that if you want, but there's a system right there if you want to blindly back that.
I love that system, baby.
That's what tempted me.
Yeah, it's been profitable shit. So, I mean, anything else in this window? Oh, the big game, but any mid-major action in this window for anybody?
Nope.
No. All right. North Carolina and Virginia. Is that the 3 o'clock too? Oh, I guess that's it in that window.
Yeah.
I guess we'll move in order first. Alabama at Kentucky. I think Kentucky's laying 3. Nope, Kentucky's down to 2. 175 total. I think this opened at 179 for the
Jesus Christ
total.
Yeah, it did.
It did. Yeah, it's kind of felt like all these high totals have all been smacking this year too. Granted, you needed overtime in the last game with Bama to hit that one. I think 170 it was, but they seem to be flying over. Kentucky doesn't play defense. They did once or twice, and then they reverted back to their old selves last game. I don't know. I kind of like Alabama in this one, and the over just because it's absurdly high. I don't care that it went down. I think it's still going to go over. But looking at splits here, 70% of the bets and 80% of the money is on Kentucky. So according to VSiN, so that's just one book. But a lot of people love Kentucky here. I don't know how you can keep backing them when they don't play defense. Like it's like a key part of the game is defending and not letting the other team score so you can win, and they don't do that. So there's gonna be a shit ton of possessions, a shit ton of points here. Dillingham will probably have a gigantic game, but Bama's got scores everywhere too. It's gonna be a fun game to watch.
This is a sizable bet for me. I laid Kentucky like as soon as this line dropped. I have them 4 units on their money line. I remember when I was last down with you guys, Rob, I think you had Kansas and you were just as confident as I've ever heard somebody in a game, and they just laid wood. I can't remember who they were playing. I don't know if you remember that from
Houston.
weekends ago.
Yeah, that was the
That was a Houston game. Okay. I love Kentucky here. They've lost 3 of the last 4 at Rupp. They've lost 4 home games on the season. They haven't lost 5+ home games. In the last 15 years, they lost 5+ home games once, and it was that post-COVID season. I think it was the 21 season. So I do not see them losing here. I know, like, you're saying Bama is a team that is super efficient offensively, and we give Kentucky a lot of flack for their defense. I don't really respect Bama's defense either. And I think this is a team that also for Alabama is really reliant on we know is very reliant on scoring from 3, and thus a team that can be very streaky. I think on the road, this is a really tough spot for them coming off of the big overtime win over Florida. Kentucky gets a little refocused here from the buzzer beater loss with LSU the other night. I love their offense. They can score from everywhere. Bama to me is a little bit too reliant. And honestly, Kentucky's defense, there are some problems for sure, but their 3-point defense has not been bad. They've got opponents shooting less than 32% from 3. I think you're looking at a Kentucky team that can spread the ball out, score from everywhere, and they should be, Bama's going to have offensive rebound opportunities. Kentucky will have theirs as well. But I like Kentucky at home here. I think you get them in a spot very focused with a Bama team coming off of obviously a tiring game there with Florida running up and down the floor in that game. But I don't think Kentucky loses another game at home here and loses 4 of their last 5 at home. I really like them in the spot.
I think the last time they're on that they had lost 3 straight at Rupp. I think the last time they'd done that was the Vietnam War. Like they don't lose at home, especially 3 times in a row. So, I see your angle. I don't hate it. I'm not betting this game, so I'll be rooting for you. Let's go Cats. But Alabama turns the ball over a shit ton too. Last in the conference, 17.5% turnover percentage. And they don't get to the line either. So maybe they're just tired, lazy passes and shit. Kentucky gets some transition and just kind of takes it away from there. So let's go Cats. Is Cal fired? If they lose this game, is Cal fired for losing 4 out of 5 at home?
I don't think they'll ever get rid of him, brother.
They can't fire him, dude. One, the buyout's crazy. 2, this is Kentucky. Like, I think I mentioned on the show, but like Kentucky's NIL, like, just structure is not impressive. Like, if they fire Coach Cal, they're getting somebody from like they're getting like Mark Byington from James Madison type. Like they aren't going out and just stealing a coach from a great university. They are not that team. Coach Cal has kind of shaped their identity and changed what their national perception is. But man, I think people are absolutely off their wagon if they think they're going to replace Cal with somebody like Shaka Smart or whoever else, just a big name coach. Get out of here.
You think Shaka would leave Marquette if Kentucky offered a job?
No, I think honestly, I think Shaka likes Marquette. Yeah,
anyway, so
yeah. He's right in his home ground. I think he may finish his career there, if the winning continues. So, I don't think that's a thing that would happen. I'm trying to think who would be like a guy who would jump ship. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. I think Scott Drew eventually at Baylor. There's going to be a time where that program really doesn't put out money and like crazy either. So at some point, maybe he sees the brighter lights of like a Duke or a North Carolina or something, or Kentucky. Who knows?
Scott, I like the Scott Drew take there. That's solid.
He's been at Baylor for like 20 years.
Yeah,
like it's
he's been
crazy.
There a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I also forgot. I think Cal has a lifetime contract anyway.
His buyout's nuts. It's like $80 million.
They're not getting rid of him.
It's a hey, time to retire thing as opposed to hey, we're firing. You think?
Yeah. retire for a
Exactly.
year and come back. Yeah, I'm going to come back.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to have an equipment manager take him out if they want to get rid of him.
Okay, but I need to know, Rob, Nick, what you guys think of this game, because I can't
Oh,
wait
yeah.
to watch this game.
Dude, I'm with you. Like, listen, there's a few teams in college basketball that I hate laying this type of number at home with. It's Kentucky, it's Texas, it's North Carolina, it's Duke, because all of those 4 programs are going to have guaranteed action on that side, especially when you're talking about a pick 'em spot at home. And because of that, like, the books want people on Kentucky. I understand that. At the same time, I totally align with your thinking, where this team is not going to lose this many home games in a season. It just can't happen. And who is Nate Oates in Alabama to be coming in here like acting like there's some hot shit? Like, this team has been up and down all season. They could absolutely get smoked in this game, and it wouldn't surprise me. So I'll ride with you, Tyler. I didn't bet this game initially, but fuck it. Let's do it, brother.
Let's go. Yeah, I also forgot to even mention, like, when they're playing some of these higher powered offenses on the road, like, those are their 2 big losses in conference play. Tennessee and Auburn both beat the doors off them on the road in these kind of particular spots too, which made me feel good about this spot. I honestly did not think Kentucky would, I guess from the blue blood perspective, like, that's how people see them, as seeing them like a short favorite, and we would be happy to bet them. But I honestly thought Bama would be a side that more people would give love to, just with the way that they played, and then the way that Kentucky has looked as of late. I am surprised, but I thought the number was right off the jump was surprising. I didn't think it was a lot of respect for Kentucky at all, but it's moved a little bit since. But
I mean, Kentucky's 11-1 outside of that 3-game losing streak at home too. So very tough place to play. Sorry, Nick.
No, you're good. And like you said, Trev, like, yeah, their defense sometimes just doesn't show up, like giving up 103 to Tennessee at home. But like, we've also seen their defense fucking get up and play. Like, they held Auburn to 59 points on the road at Auburn, which is fucking insane. Like, Auburn has a very good offense. Like, I really am high on that Auburn team. So to hold them to 59, hold Ole Miss to 63, like, if their defense wants to wake up and play, like, I don't really like, I don't see them losing this game. So if they get even 80% of their defensive play and that offense is clicking, like, it obviously can, especially at home. Like, I definitely side with Tyler here. I don't have a play on it, but like, if I were to, it would be Kentucky. I'm not gonna fade them at home.
all right.
And I'm guessing, Tyler, is that going to be, because we've been doing and I think you were part of the first one, Tyler, but we've been doing a pump fake pod parlay, and we've been doing pretty well with them, honestly. I mean, we hit the first one out the gate. We were 1 leg away last week. I mean, is that going to be your leg, Kentucky money line?
Yeah, it would have to be, absolutely. Yeah,
All right,
this is
noted.
This is a sizable wager for me, so absolutely.
Let's do it. All right, we're all Wildcats today. Let's go.
Let's do it. We're all stock.
Next one we have. I just lost it. The big one, North Carolina, Virginia. Virginia stared at me in the face all night last night, and it's still staring at me in the face. Who the hell wants to back Virginia after they just got 30-pieced on the road against Virginia Tech, and North Carolina beat Virginia Tech by 17 points. Now they're heading to Virginia. Virginia will slow the shit. Well, obviously, is going to slow this game down. North Carolina hasn't had success here. They've lost the last 8 games in Virginia. And UNC has struggled with slower teams. I mean, they lost to Villanova. Granted, the Tennessee game was all offense, 192. But some of these other teams like Kentucky, they lost to. Connecticut held them down. Well, Connecticut's Connecticut, but they still play great defense. And when they get slowed down a little bit, they're not as effective and good overall. I kind of like Virginia. I feel like if I was to play Virginia, I might as well just take money line or nothing, because UNC will roll if they win. But I don't know. I think Tony Bennett's in this team's going to have a little bit more pride, especially at home too, to come out and play a lot better than they did. They just got embarrassed on national TV. Because that was Monday. There was that game and then one game after them. That was about it. So all the eyes were on them. So who the hell is wanting to bet Virginia on this short spread against North Carolina? I feel like North Carolina is probably either going to win by 50 or they lose outright in this game. So maybe somebody can nudge me into it, but yeah, no play right now.
I'm not on the side on this one, but I took the over 130. Like I said, the system I adopted from Tyler, we talked about it too last night. It does fit it, even though both defenses are fucking obviously very good. But 130 is a crazy fucking number. Like, it's very, very low, especially for a North Carolina offense who we've seen, like you mentioned, even against Tennessee, who we regard as a very good defense. They're top 5 in defensive efficiency. There was almost 200 points in that game. Obviously, Virginia knows how to slow you down and make the game ugly and gross. But like you said, I think even if we can get, if we can get 55, 60 from Virginia, I think North Carolina does win the game. So I think if we get that much from Virginia, I think North Carolina will be able to carry us through to the over. So I'm on the 130, but I'm not touching the spread.
Yeah, this is one that I struggled with kind of mentally because I feel like people still buy into Virginia being Virginia, right? The same way that, it's just kind of like one of those blue blood fixtures where even if it's a down year, they're still going to be betting the crap out of this team. Man, I don't know. I was so torn on this game, so I just kind of completely stayed away, but Virginia's got to win this game, like for their resume. I just don't know if they have the horses to actually get there. And so that's where my torn is. It's a great Virginia spot. I just don't know if I love Virginia as a team.
Yeah, feel the same way.
Yeah,
I hate Virginia's offense. It's fucking putrid. It hurts to watch, but at home they're just a much better team. They can't play any worse than last game, but they got 30 pieces. So I mean, even if they play a little better, it could get ugly. But
that offense is horrible, man.
It's Reese Beekman. That's about it. And then once he gets hot and he gets double guarded, then they can kick it out to somebody open. But
yeah, look at Chad G's comment.
If Virginia home under system is in play, fuck.
No, one above.
I just rolled out of bed and grabbed whatever the fuck was laying around. Sorry, dude. I will.
He's from Green Bay. I mean, yellow everything. That's his whole color scheme. It's just mustard green.
Yellow. Yeah, I mean, fuck, the Bucks were yellow. I think Brewers are yellow, Packers yellow. Yeah, it's just it's what we do around here. Everything revolves around the color yellow. You go from there. Yeah, I mean. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to bet this game. I will hold off. I'm not going to do it. But, man, Virginia's going to win this game, I bet. UNC 2.5 just feels too easy. The next game, Oklahoma is at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's laying 1.5. Nope, back to 1. I'm on Oklahoma State. They've been playing really well lately. I've been backing them as of late, and it's been paying off. Oklahoma on the road is not that great. 17-point loss at Baylor, a loss by 11 at UCF. They beat Kansas State. They whooped them by 20, but they've had some fucking clunkers on the road. And Oklahoma State they've covered their 6 of the last 7 games. They've won 2 straight 10-point win against BYU and then hit the road and won by 4 at Cincy. I think they're going to come home. And this is the last game, actually, for both of them, isn't it, against each other? Yep. Yeah. This is the last one in the Big 12. So this is the ultimate fuck you on the way out to Oklahoma. And I saw the IBA Center is sold out today, which I'm not sure when the last time they sold out, but it's going to be rocking today. So let's go Cowboys, guns up. Fuck the Sooners. Sorry, Nick, about that hat, but fuck them.
Dude, what the fuck, man?
This is one of my favorite bets of the day.
I didn't even think about the Oklahoma State last game ever. After win Bedlam in football and then win this one too.
Oh,
shit.
That's been my angle with Wazoo and shit. They're giving fuck yous on the way out to all these Pac-12 teams, and they've been doing it.
Yeah, facts.
I didn't take them. Took Arizona the other night. That fucked me, but yeah, it's just some of these teams take it more personally, and I think that's going to happen today again.
Dude, Oklahoma State, the Pokes. This is one of my favorite bets of the day. Goodness, having a stroke over here. But Oklahoma State, man, they're playing some of the best ball of their season right now. Mike Boynton, what he should do is run the table from here on out, then go in the Big 12 tourney, pick off a team, and then just bounce away from this program because they're putting nothing into their basketball infrastructure. Like they're not really buying into him. It's just kind of an investable coach. And so, and he's a great coach too. Like he's taking this team to heights that they never have really seen. And since, Underwood was there, and I don't get what the hate is with him and with another coach we're going to be talking about here in Johnny Dawkins. Like, get out of there. Go to a team that actually wants you, a program that's going to be excited for you because he's a good coach. He can recruit some good talent. And I think they're going to win this game and win it convincingly against the Sooners, who I feel like are a little bit of overachievers.
Both these guys both him and Gundy take the same personality, lack of true support, but they just are great ball coaches and have rosters that can overachieve because of how good they are when they're actually on the court or on the field. It's definitely true.
Well, I'll be battling you guys on this one, I guess. I did kind of forget that it's the last time they're going to be playing each other. So that's kind of, that does rock, but I feel like that helps the home team a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. I like the Sooners in this one. I thought I saw some, decent advantages for them getting to the free throw line. Oklahoma State turns the ball over a lot. Oklahoma's defense has been very, very good. But like you said, that could be thrown all out the window in a rivalry game on the road. So it'll be a good one.
Yep. And we kind of lead into it. I brought up UCF Johnny Dawkins. Do you guys have any bets in the UCF Texas Tech game?
I do not.
I don't know what to do with this game, to be honest.
I'm on an island, man.
I haven't bet, I don't think, one UCF game all year.
I bet them against Kansas when they picked them off at home. Other than that, I don't think. Yeah, other than that, I don't think I've bet any other UCF games either. But I love Johnny Dawkins. Like, this is another coach where people are I saw some dumbass like odd shark posts, when they're talking about like the next coach in college basketball to be fired. Here are their odds, and somehow Johnny Dawkins made the short list. Like, what? They have a winning record in their first year in Big 12 when nobody was taking them to be anywhere remotely competitive in this league, and all of a sudden it's like a fireable offense. Like I think they get this upset, like outright upset here. And this number has crossed 0, which in my opinion, college basketball crossing 0 doesn't really mean shit because the books can do that and it doesn't really affect, the money one way or another really. But I'm all over UCF. I think you can lay 1.5 here. I think you can take money line here. I got them at +1, whatever. I think they're going to win this thing outright and really kind of put a good first year stamp on this UCF season in the Big 12.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm on Central Florida +1 here. It flipped over to -1, but I'd still take it anyway. These two teams, it was a 7-point game at Texas Tech when they played, and it was a 3-point game with a minute left. It was within a 3 to 5 point game the entire time, and then late missed the shot, foul, pushes it over. But I don't get how Johnny Dawkins would be on the hot seat here. He's done very well with this team. They beat fucking Kansas at home like this year. Like, how do you fire in their first year? So I don't know if he gets fired. Criminal, he'll do good wherever the hell he goes to. But they need to keep him around. But I'm on Central Florida here at home. The bounce house. They catch teams here a little bit. They're 10-5 at home, but 2-point loss against Cincinnati. They beat Oklahoma. Baylor was an 8-point game. They play teams tight, and the fact that Texas Tech is now a dog kind of feels telling that they're going to lose. They're 2-5 on the road, and they have Texas on deck too. Kind of got a little bit of a look ahead here. But yeah, lost to Texas Tech on the road, lost at Iowa State, lost to Baylor, lost to TCU, 1-point win against Oklahoma, lost by 20-something to Houston. Like, when they hit the road, they're not the same team. So I think UCF gets this W and a revenge spot also from that close game they played a couple weeks ago. And Chad, fuck the Midwest winters. They're not that bad. You get used to it. I mean, shit. It was just 55 degrees, 60 degrees the other day, and then it was snowing yesterday.
Mhm.
So it's just what it does. We're an April blizzard away from hitting summer here, so it'll be nice once we finally get there. But it's not as bad as you think. You get used to it.
Agreed.
I got to get going, but I want to ask about one game if we can jump ahead. I just want to hear what you guys think about this one. Texas at Kansas. It's like 8.5 right now. Do any of you guys ever play in that game or look at that game by chance?
I took Texas plus 8.5.
Yeah, it's still 8.5.
Yeah. I do feel like that's a lot of points to lay for a desperation spot. And similarly to William Mary Stony Brook, like this line of like 8.5, 8. You got to feel confident that Kansas is going to win by 12. Otherwise, there's always a backdoor opportunity. And you got Max Asmus and a bunch of dudes on Texas who can hit a 3 in your face. So, yeah, I think that's getting far too many points. And it's already moved off the original number of 7.5. So there is value on the Texas side now, too. Just if you like that side initially, you like it a little bit more.
Yeah, I played Texas last night. I wish I had the 8.5. I have 7.5. But I feel like I like this Texas team a lot. I feel with Dessou back, I do like them. They haven't really put together one of those big wins. And I know, Allen Fieldhouse is probably not a place to put together a big win. But I like their matchup. Like their interior defense has been really good. I don't really trust Kansas's scoring on the perimeter. Like McCullers had a great year. Don't really love him as a shooter on the outside. And like if you run into Asmus shooting extremely well in this game, because Kansas will force you to take a lot of threes. If Asmus gets hot, I really think Texas could win this game. I'm playing their money line just as a small sprinkle, just because I do think there's an outside shot they win, but I do like them to cover. I am really excited about this game. I think that's one of the more under the radar games of the week, because with Dessou and Asmus, Texas is a really fun team to watch.
I think a really good angle here, and there's a couple different ways you can play Texas for plus money, is like a race to 10 or race to 20. Because I do think Texas is going to hop out the gate pretty fast, and they run some really good ball action with their guards that they're going to have some open looks at 3 right out the gate. And also just kind of first half money line. If you really want to go for it, like I think those are good spots. Full game money line is where I would probably draw the line of I wouldn't do that, but I mean, there's still value there inherently. So I see where you're coming from. Definitely some angles on Texas that I like there.
I think that's a good point too, because Dessou has been running into foul trouble, and he probably will with this way this Kansas team gets their points. So first half would actually be a better way to play this. So you kind of hopefully he doesn't have 2 fouls like 9 minutes into the game. There's a chance that happens, but maybe I get a better chance of him being on the floor in the first half, and they could potentially do that there. Dessou is leading the country in 3-point percentage. He's shooting 55% on like 60 shots.
Shit.
Oh my
Holy
god!
shit! I did not know that.
Yeah, saw it last night.
6 or 1-6.
Pardon?
60 shots or 16 shots?
60.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
Oh
it's not even
my
like
God.
a crazy low volume.
Holy shit!
That's crazy.
Your first
enjoy the
half.
rest of the slate.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of the slate, boys. And yes, Kentucky, please. Kentucky, please.
All right.
Is that your parlay?
right.
Your parlay pick for the day then? The Kentucky money line.
Absolutely.
All
Absolutely.
right, sounds good. We'll fire that in there for you.
Sweet.
All right. See you, gentlemen.
Yep.
All
Good
right.
luck
Peace out,
today, brother.
Yeah, and just topping that off, Kansas, the last 3 they have a first half margin of minus 2.7, and Texas has a +6 first half margin. So, to your point, Rob, yeah, maybe they jump out and then have a lead going into half, and then you get to avoid the ref show second half to boost Kansas there. But also Texas whooped Kansas's ass by 20 last year in the Big 12 tournament. And ended it there. So, this could be a revenge spot for Kansas, but, we'll see. Texas has actually beaten them the last 2 times. 20-point Kansas win or Texas win at Kansas, or that was the whatever you call it, Big 12, and then they beat them by 16 at home too. So, Texas has had their number lately. So we'll see what happens. It'll be a good game regardless. So
Yeah,
Yep.
like on top of what Tyler said, like with the Dessou leading the country, like that's where Texas can really take advantage of them. Like they're a great 3-point shooting team. Kansas 3-point defense, like it's not bad by any means, but it's something they can exploit. And shockingly, like Kansas is like almost bottom 300 in offensive rebounding, even after getting Hunter Dickinson to transfer. Like they just don't get any offensive boards. So Texas should be able to get a couple more second chance opportunities. So yeah, I think getting 8.5, we're almost at 3 possessions. Like Kansas has to win by 3 possessions to cover. So like Rob said, even if they're up 10, with 20 seconds left, like Texas has great players that are able to just backdoor you like that. So I think 8.5 is a very good number for Texas.
Yeah. And I had to throw on the green hat because of someone yelled at my color coordinating. So
just rocking an NFL hat.
Dude, it's got fucking spots.
I'm rocking MLB.
Yeah, but yours is a team. His is just NFL.
Oh wait, I can't.
I was like, this is the greatest hat of all time. I can stick my fucking golf pencil in my fucking hat and some tees. This is amazing.
Homie looks like Rob Lowe in that meme.
Yeah,
where
that's exactly what I was thinking. I just couldn't remember his name.
Big NFL fan.
I just love football.
I just hope everyone has fun. All right.
He's pulling for the refs.
Dude, hey, refs are people too, man. They got to go home to their families.
Oh, well, I choose not to think about their families.
Fuck.
Yeah, they're taking away food off my plate.
That was not a fucking holding call in the second quarter. Killed the drive.
Oh, God, horrible.
Well, I don't know how golf course is open tomorrow, but that's fantastic news. Maybe I'll get out there.
Those greens cannot be good.
No, it'll be dog shit. But if it's 40 degrees in Wisconsin, we'll be out there drinking beers, having a good time.
That's facts.
Next game, I kind of lost where we were. Kansas. Let me go find this on the bird. All right. So we're in the 5 o'clock window. Anything else in this 5 o'clock window? I know we got Yale, Columbia. I know a lot of people are talking about that. Georgetown and RuPaul. Actually, Georgetown. Are they losing? I feel like 4 with Georgetown is too easy.
Don't bet this game, man.
Oh no.
This game.
Can you imagine how smart you'd feel if you nailed the DePaul?
No, I'll never bet on DePaul. But this game is fucking disgusting. This is worse than the fucking Stony Brook game we were talking about before. This is fucked.
It's up there,
dude. Oh man, RuPaul. No, Chad. To answer Chad G's comment, I don't think DePaul could win in the SWAC, brother. Yeah, this team is so ass, like unfathomable. Like they are so bad that it's almost unfathomable. So any line you throw out there, I don't think they can cover it. Like if you threw out minus 50.5 for Georgetown, I'd be like, I probably don't want to take the points.
Yep, literally. That's like genuinely what their number would have to be for me to like want to like back DePaul against a Power 5 team. Like literally, it'd have to be like 40 plus. Because even if Georgetown was laying fucking legit like 19, I'd be like, I'm still not taking 19. And Georgetown sucks too.
Yep.
It's DePaul's a huge mess. I don't even think Jay Wright could
need to be relegated.
Yeah, they need
delegated. What's the
relegated?
Relegated.
Yeah.
Send them to the fucking. I don't even know, the whack or something.
Send them to the fucking moon. We're done with them.
Yeah, they got to play someone in their competition. Like the Big East is just not for them, bro. They're never gonna fucking win. They just can't.
If they got put into the Missouri Valley Conference, they could compete with Valpo. Like
they would get fucking smacked by Indiana State and like
Drake
Belmont, Bradley, Drake. Yeah, like they're fucked. Like they literally couldn't compete in the MVC.
Yeah.
What do you think? Maybe the MEC, the MAAC, maybe? Who knows? But Quinnipiac would probably have their fucking way with them too.
Yeah, like Quinnipiac at home, Fairfield. Did you see that game last night? By the way, I think Quinnipiac shot like 2 free throws last night in the entire game. Like, how the fuck?
I was on Fairfield. I loved how Fairfield is a team that like everybody counted out after their head coach resigned or whatever 1 week before the season, and all of a sudden they're like 7 games over 500. It's wild.
What? Elliot in the chat said, "For Nick, can we talk about Alabama State versus Florida A&M?" I mean, we can, but why me?
Yeah.
Why me to talk about that game? What the fuck?
Yeah, he said specifically for
Yeah.
Nick.
Nick's the FAMU guy. Everybody knows this.
Yeah, what the fuck? I don't know if I've definitely bet on an Alabama State game before. Dude, this is like, what the fuck are we doing on Saturday betting these games? These two teams should be fucking not ever be on TV. I have no idea. I don't even know what the spread is for this shit. Alabama State. They're laying 4.5 on the road at FAMU. Because you said earlier you love when we drop random games. Oh, yeah. I mean, you got to be a DGen to be betting this shit on this slate. I don't know, brother. Close your eyes and press a button.
I would take FAMU. Do I have reasoning behind it? No.
Yep.
This feels right.
Alabama State's defense, actually, it doesn't look that bad. But yeah, 4.5 on the road. I don't know, brother. Flip a coin.
Alabama State's legitimately shooting less than 25% from 3 in conference. They're 355th. Oh my God, 355th from 3-point overall in the country. 360th 2-point percentage.
Yeah,
dude, this is one of those.
First,
this is one of those roulette wheel games where it's like pick red or black. Which one do you want to go with?
Literally.
If you like red, take Florida A&M. If you like black, Alabama State, and then you feel like a true 50-50 at the end of it.
Yeah, literally, whatever side you pick is, I don't know.
So I did what you said. I now have FAMU points and Alabama State money line. There you go. That's a fucking banger SGP. Nice middle.
Yeah, I like it.
Imagine Alabama State wins by 2. You'll be fucking rich.
Oh, yeah, you're retired. Gotta feed families. Next, 6
I will say, yeah, there's a ton in this 5 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time window that I love. And one of them, dude, there's a disgusting one that I'm riding the lightning, baby. Riding the Mike White lightning, baby. I'm taking Georgia. I think this is the game where they finally get this shit done. I know that we've been kind of leaning on their first halves every single time we combo on here on the Saturday, and we're handicapping a Georgia game where it's like take first half, money line Georgia, and then take the other team to smoke them the second half. Certainly possible to do it here, but Georgia's getting 8 points. And I do think they're going to have a little bit of pride down the stretch. And this is still a talented Georgia team. And this, actually, this line's come down quite a bit. Oh, geez, I didn't realize that. It's down to 6.5 or 7. That's what I'm kind of seeing too. But I grabbed this at Georgia +8. I think this is a money line potential spot. I mean, we just kind of saw Vanderbilt knock off Texas A&M at home. Like, this can happen this time of year where a team maybe just gets complacent. And Georgia, they're a lot more talented than a lot of these bottom feeders in the SEC. So I'm all over Georgia here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Georgia is, a very good team. I'm obviously very high on Auburn. So I'm not betting it, especially now that it's down to 6.5. I did see it last night at 8 and contemplated betting Georgia because it just is a lot of points, especially at home. But yeah, I think they can definitely stay within this game. And we've seen Auburn be, a little vulnerable. Like we touched on it with the Kentucky game. And they got mopped by Florida on the road as well. So I think Georgia has the talent and has the offensive capabilities to stay within this number. So yeah, I don't hate that.
Love it.
I think we lost Trevor. I think he died.
Oh, I thought Trevor was just really contemplating. He was just like frozen like this.
Mm-hmm.
No, I accidentally switched my Wi-Fi in the middle of that. That was a bad idea. But we're here.
No, all good.
We're back.
I got a mid-major game in this time slot.
Bet.
And it's the MVC. Drake is going on the road at Northern Iowa. They're only a 1 point. I think Drake is 1 point road favorite. I think you're on this too, Rob, right? Are you on Drake?
Yep, I get a horrible number, but I still like the side.
Yeah, I don't really see a basketball reason to really back Northern Iowa here. Like, obviously, they play good fundamental basketball, but yeah, their defense is just so bad. Like, bottom 250 in interior defense and 3-point defense, something where Drake is top 20 in 2-point offense, 50th or 52nd in 3-point percent from three. Yeah, Drake doesn't get a lot of offensive boards, but neither does Northern Iowa. So there's going to not be a lot of second chance opportunities on either side. Drake takes care of the ball. They're not going to be turning it over. Yeah. And I mean, the last time Drake faced Northern Iowa at home, they won by 14 points. So we're getting a pick 'em here. Basically, I don't really see how Northern Iowa wins this game. Yeah, I think Drake is just a much better team.
And listen, like Northern Iowa, outside of my Hawkeyes, has been my favorite team in all of college basketball over like the past decade and a half, like or my entire pretty much college basketball fandom life. But Ben Jacobson, this is the lowest point of Northern Iowa's program since he's really been at the helm, where they're not even selling out the McLeod Center half the time. They're really not making the runs that they used to make, and they're not winning. People forget, like 5 years ago, Northern Iowa was the Drake of this conference. Like these two teams were basically in reverse roles. Northern Iowa has fallen quite a bit, where they're getting smoked by trash teams. And it just doesn't make sense to me. And I do think that Drake is by far the better team. Now, the first time these two teams played, Northern Iowa had Drake on the ropes at Drake without Bowen Bourne. And so, like, that's where I was a little bit hesitant, just a little bit. But at the same time, I think Drake they got their scare out of their system with Evansville. I think they're going to be ready to go here, and I think they're going to potentially even pour it on.
Yep, I'm with you. I just think Drake is such a much better team, especially offensively. Like, they're just greened out on all the KenPom categories, and Northern Iowa's defense just like is just not it this year. Like you said, like 5 years ago, Northern Iowa was what 23-6 or something, and they lost.
Yeah.
They actually lost to Drake in the conference tournament, I think. So it was like a weird, a little. We're going back in history now with these two teams, but yeah, I mean they were super good, and now they're just like middle of the road, like almost at a 500 record here. And Drake obviously has been running this, conference, or at least been, in contention to run the conference for the last couple of years. So yeah, I think Drake just rolls them.
I was at that game that Elliot Money is bringing up 2 years ago, and I had a bet on Northern Iowa, and so Bowen Bourne hitting all those buzzer beaters. I don't know if you guys remember that game, but it was one of the best games of the entire season last season.
Yeah, I feel like I faintly remember that game. Not 100%, but I was probably watching it. Yeah, I agree with you guys. This is the Drake spot today. I haven't fired on it yet, but once the beers start flowing, I'll need some later locks. So I'll probably find myself on Drake here. Mm-hmm. Anything else in this 6 o'clock window? Tennessee. I know Nick, I think we're battling on this one.
Which one?
Middle Tennessee. Shit.
Yeah. Yep.
Forget who they're playing. Kentucky.
Western Kentucky, yeah.
Yep. I guess you want to start it off, or?
Sure, I can. I know Middle Tennessee at home is it used to be a printing machine, especially early in the season. I don't know what they've been doing at home since. I kind of stopped following them, but I've been watching this Western Kentucky team a lot. Again, they're a super fast-paced team, so I always look, at those teams and tend to have a bias towards them. But yeah, the only thing that scares me here is Middle Tennessee's home court advantage. But again, their offense is fucking horrendous. Like bottom 300 effective field goal percentage. They're bottom 350 in turnover percentage. So they're going to give Western Kentucky a ton of extra possessions. They're terrible at defensive rebounding, something that Western Kentucky can do. Western Kentucky's 3-point defense is top 20 in the country. Again, not that Middle Tennessee is a great 3-point shooting team, but they do shoot a decent amount of 3-pointers a game. So it's where most of their points are coming from. 33% of their points are coming from 3. So they're going to struggle to shoot from deep against this Western Kentucky team. yeah, I just think the Hilltoppers have a big offensive advantage here. They're going to be able to, like I said, seal the ball on defense, get extra possessions. So 3.5, we only need 4 points. I like the Hilltoppers here.
Fair.
Yeah.
I'm on Middle Tennessee +4 here, or 3.5. It went down after I made these banners, but I've got them 3.5. Middle Tennessee at home. I mean, once conference play started, they've really they've got it back. I mean, to start the year, they were suspect at home. They had they were lost to Western Carolina, which Jay Fulbright probably took over. UAB lost, Wofford lost. They beat Missouri State in overtime, lost to Belmont, Louisiana Tech. Like they were losing every game at home. They were fake, but they've started just showing back up in home when conference play has started. So I like them here. The number feels short for a Western Kentucky team that's fighting for first place here. So I'm not going to say that they lose this game. I think it'll probably be tight, but they are giving up a fair amount of points from 3-point line. That's where 35% of teams' points are coming from. So they're letting them take those shots, and that's where Middle Tennessee likes to do. So I mean, if they're falling, I think Middle Tennessee is going to be very live. This will be a good game. But if they're not, Western Kentucky is going to blow them out. But I'm leaning to the latter that they are making their threes, and that home court shows up. Middle Tennessee at home is just there's something else. So we'll battle on this one, Nick, and go fucking Blue Raiders.
I respect it.
Someone's going to win here. We just gave out another winner on the show, so you're welcome.
True.
Anything else in this window? Charlotte, Tulsa. That line stink to anybody? Charlotte only 2 points against Tulsa. Hasn't moved either. That Charlotte's going to lose that game. Don't bet it, but yeah, that line reeks.
Two Ivy League games that we can briefly touch on and just kind of bounce off it. But I bet Yale last night -6. That line's been moving up. I think Yale's the best team in this conference. I think Columbia is an overachieving team. So I just kind of like the spot there for Yale. It's kind of a bounce back stomp. One day after they lost, because the Ivy League is so stupid. And then Brown Cornell. Brown has the best player in this conference in Keno Lilly Jr. Like, this guy makes shots just at will. He can, ISO ball you. Two guys can guard him at a corner three, and he can make it. He can drive the lane. He plays respectable defense. One of the best players in all college basketball at the guard position, in my opinion. And Brown 8-17, obviously a really unfortunate season for them record wise. But they have a experienced core, guys that have been together for a long time. And I think they're going to make it a ball game against Cornell. And I grabbed that at +12.5 last night. That's gone down to -11 or the 11.5 range. But I don't know necessarily if Brown is live in this game to win outright on the money line, but I do think this is a single-digit ball game throughout the entire way.
Yeah, let's not forget the big win for Cornell last night too. Knocking down Yale, and now they're going to follow it up with a little home sleeper spot against. So, I'm with you. Feels like Brown would be the spot here. Just sleepy spot for Cornell. You just took down Yale, and it's just measly old Columbia or Brown coming into town. So,
don't be disparaging Columbia, Trev.
No, you won't catch me doing that. Fucking Columbia. They covered last night, didn't they? Or am I wrong? I don't know. Whatever.
No, they lost outright to Brown.
Yes. I'm staring. Never mind. Here it is. I'm staring fucking around. Yeah. Lean Brown. Looks like it's about to drop to 11. Offshore at least. So grab it quick if you want it.
Yep.
Next game. Anything else here? We got Oregon, California. Has anything in that? I have no plays in that.
Yeah, actually, I don't even have anything until the 7 p.m. Central Time window, and then that's my last window, which I kind of like.
Yeah, I only have one more at 8 o'clock, and that's my last one as well.
Yep.
And it's a
Perfect. I was
fucking
gonna
disgusting one.
Yeah, the night slate's not. I don't know. It doesn't look as appealing today as it normally does. Until you get to midnight with Hawaii. I think this was my last window I got. I have a late night play, but yeah, Middle Tennessee. I have nothing in these 7 o'clock ones yet. But the Villanova Connecticut game's interesting. The Washington State Arizona line is very interesting. Colorado UNLV. I mean, there's some decent games in this later window.
Oh yeah. And I do have a bet in that Texas A&M Tennessee game.
Let's hear it.
I'm all over Texas A&M. You know, I think at a certain point there's going to be a buy point with every single team in the season, especially these high majors where there's a spotlight on every single one of them. Texas A&M, you know, if this was a game being played 2 weeks ago, it's like a 5.5, 6.5, 7.5 type line. Well, now all of a sudden Texas A&M is getting 10.5, 11 points, and man, I am a non-believer in Tennessee. Really just don't think this team is even top 15 caliber. And I think they can actually get beat by pretty much anybody at any given night, just depending on how they're playing. And I think Texas A&M could potentially put the fear of God in them and maybe revitalize their season right here. This would be a win that, if Texas A&M is going to end up on the bubble again, they can look back at a road win at Tennessee. So I have a little bit of money on plus 10.5 and minus 102, pretty much an even payer there. And also sprinkle the money line at plus 480 as well. I think that they're live in this game.
Yeah. I mean, shit. I like the angle. I was debating playing Texas A&M, but Tennessee, they'll either show up and put up 100 on you, or they'll kind of revert to last year. If Dalton Connect doesn't go for 20-25, they're kind of in trouble. So, and I could see this Texas A&M defense just kind of locking them down. I mean, Buzz is a good coach. He kind of knows the one guy they really need to stop in order to have a chance here. Because if you're going to let Connect go for 25 plus, they're going to get run out the gym. But yeah, I mean, it's a big spot. This will be a huge resume builder too, as if they can get a dub, or even just keeping it close will be a huge confidence boost for themselves going down the stretch here.
Yeah, and the Aggies, playing with expectations, that's where all their losses have come. Now they got nothing to lose. Like, they can let it fly, and you're giving them 11, 10.5 points. I started thinking about this after I placed 2 units on the spread and then 1 unit on the money line. And then as I kind of thought about it more and more, like, this is a game that I want to have more of a stake in. I really do think A&M is going to make this a ball game.
Fair. I'm quick. Maybe I'll bet that, because like I said, I need some more locks for later tonight. Villanova, Connecticut. Did anyone see Bobby Hurley's video where he put on or Dan Hurley? Put on a Twitter. I think it was like Passion of the Christ, and he's getting persecuted or something. I'm not too sure, but like it was absurd. It was hilarious. It makes you think that Villanova's in for a fucking ass whooping for them coming off the loss. But Villanova's been playing really good. 3 games, all by double digits too. They played Connecticut earlier this year as 4-point dogs. I think that was a neutral site in Philly somewhere, or Pennsylvania somewhere. Now they're heading to Stores here. This feels like a game that Villanova kind of hangs in and loses by 7-8 points. I mean, they've been playing really tough. They've kind of flipped their season around a little bit, but I don't think they're going to beat UConn at all. UConn's going to be pissed. I think, if anything, UConn probably rolls first half, and then Villanova kind of claws their way back in second half here. I don't want to back either side, though. This will be a game I watch, because would I be surprised if Connecticut wins by 30 points? No, but I also wouldn't be surprised if Villanova kind of kept it close either. So I will watch this game, and then if Connecticut jumps out huge first half, maybe I'll grab in a second half or something live. But I want nothing pregame for this one.
Yeah, I stayed away from it. I don't want to fucking touch Villanova anymore. But yeah, I mean, it's just a big spread. I think Villanova could potentially keep in it, but like you said, would you be surprised if you kind of just blast it? I'm like, no, not really.
I mean, I feel like with the book expecting that this would have been a little bit bigger of a line too, because people still kind of hate Villanova. They've been burning them out till lately. So I mean, we'll see. Wazoo only laying 5 at Arizona State, fresh off that big Arizona win. This is the Arizona State game, but god damn, who wants to bet that? I know
It's
Rob
so
does.
obvious though. It's so obvious though. Like I love Wazoo. Like this is a team that I've really started to buy into. They're not just a flash in the pan. They are not just like a team that's overachieving. I truly believe that Wazoo is a good team, but fuck, they are. This is just one of those spots where you know what's gonna happen, and I think Arizona State's gonna win this thing outright convincingly. I would not be surprised one bit.
I need Arizona State to win for that future, so I'd love for them to win.
What future do you got?
It happens
The
all the time.
Arizona to win the Pac-12 regular season, and so Wazoo's ahead of them right now.
Yeah, you needed that game the other night.
Yeah, I really needed that. It was a big fucking game. But yeah, like Rob said, like if Wazoo didn't just come off of that fucking absolute massive win, like this would be a Wazoo spot for me because they're like shout out to Kyle Smith, their coach, because you know when he took over, they were kind of shit, like you know nothing really special, and now these last couple of years, like they've been over 500, and right now, I mean they're on an 8-win streak. They're ranked. They just knocked off Arizona on the road. Like the team's fucking rolling. Like they're a very good team. But yeah, it's just like Rob said, it's like such a fucking spot that Arizona State should be the play, but like for unrelated basketball reasons, like Wazoo is a better team for sure, but I don't want to bet them here. I thought Arizona would be the spot because I think that was that their first game that Wazoo was ranked. Or maybe it was a Stanford game or something like that's usually where you know you also want to take them like their first game is ranked, you know, maybe getting a little more hype or whatever, but they proved us wrong and got that win. But yeah, I'm just staying away
and playing with expectations. They are first in the Pac-12 right now.
Yeah,
like Wazoo out of nowhere, out of fucking left field, is taking the reins of this conference. And you know what happens when you're playing with expectations and you're going on the road against a team that looks like ass, but you're only laying 5.5 points? Oof.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm all over Arizona State here. The boys are at least covering.
Yeah.
This was the first game I'd left off my card, and I will probably fire on Arizona State. You just swept Arizona. Now you're gonna turn around immediately and hit the road to Tempe. Arizona. This either Arizona State wins the game, or they're gonna lose outright, and Washington State doesn't skip a beat. But I mean, Washington State's been on their fuck you tour all year, and it, you know, who knows? So we'll see. But that was a huge win on the road last time, getting a chance at Arizona. So yeah, it's a hell of a spot to follow up. Just measly ass Arizona State, only laying 5. Just
blind bet it. Don't even stress over it. You know, like this is one where you open up your bet slip or your app in the morning. And you're just like, all right, it's in the green. That's all that matters. I don't care how they got there because Arizona State could have been down by 12 the entire game and backdoored the hell out of this thing. Like, who knows? I hate watching Arizona State basketball because one, I hate Hurley. Like I hate watching his antics and his mannerisms. Like, just the worst. But at the same time, their high variance of play also is annoying. So I just blind bet Arizona State. Feel great about it when it cashes in the morning.
Sounds good. I will probably end up doing that. Chad G is asking about Oregon at Cal. Oregon is laying 2 points at California. Total is 148 even. Didn't Cal just burn everybody last game? Wasn't that the game Cal was getting a lot of love?
They beat Oregon State at home.
They
on
did beat Oregon.
Thursday. Yeah.
My brain's now. They did beat them. Yeah, shit. Oh, they didn't cover.
What was that spread?
8.5. It was a
Oh fuck.
8-point win. Brutal. Oregon's owned this series, but this is a different Cal team this year. I mean, Oregon did win 80-73 at home. Cal was catching 8. Now they're at home catching 2 points against Oregon. Oregon, this will be their third straight road game too. Oregon State 2-point win, Stanford 7-point win. Now going to Cal for a revenge spot for them, plus the third game on the road.
They're not sweeping a road state.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, it's a very good point. They're due to just get tired out and not cover. I mean, Jalen Tyson and Cohen, those guys are electric. We've seen them take over a game and pull a team out of the fucking hole. I mean, the Colorado game at home, they were down like 20 some points. Second half, they fucking rallied and won that damn game. So Cal at home, this is their last spot chance at Oregon too. So this is another potential fuck you on the way out. I mean, I think it's down to 1.5 now. I see. Nope, 2. So I'd actually lean California just on the money line here. Plus 110. Oregon's not gonna sweep that road trip, and it's a revenge spot and a fuck you on the way out the door. So
yeah, sweeping a 3-game road trip is reserved for like the shit conferences where you have one team that's just driving the whole ship. Like there's just no way in high major basketball you're winning 3 straight home games. And so yeah, I think they're gonna get got here, and I'm surprised I didn't bet it initially, but I will be betting it now.
Yeah, I think I had high expectations for Cal coming into the season, like looking at their roster and everything. Like they looked like a team that I thought could honestly be at the top of the pack, like, maybe 3rd, 4th with this roster. But, it was a little bit disappointing. But like you guys said, I don't think Oregon can go on a 3-game road trip and win all of them.
And I don't think Cal has had a disappointing year.
Yeah.
I mean, because their over under on wins was 10.5. So like, they're already better than last year, and yeah, I bet that on both Bovada of all freaking sites. But
there you go.
But yeah, like Cal, like there's a serious shot that I'm just kind of pulling up their remaining schedule, but give me 1 second here. But like they're 12-15 right now. If they win this game, they go to 13-15. And then on deck, they have, let's take a peek here. Once it loads up, there we go. They got, that's stuff. They got the mountain road trip on deck. I totally didn't know that. So if they win this game against Oregon, then they go on the road at Colorado, at Utah. Those are 2 losses. And then they get Stanford at home in a rivalry game, which is going to be up and alive. They could finish, like 14-17. This thing out, and so like I'm all for it. I think they can get there.
Yeah, I wish I saw that 10.5 team total preseason, because I would have been fucking all over that. Because I was looking at the almanac or whatever, like at the beginning of the season with all the transfers and all that shit. Like their roster on paper looked fucking really good. So if I saw 10.5, I would definitely bet it. So yeah, I guess you're right. They're performing above expectations, especially in a hard league where like you have Arizona, you have Colorado State, Utah, like these teams that, are very, very good. So yeah, I guess maybe I give them a little too much slack.
And they have a win over Wazoo.
Yeah. I mean,
the most impressive win in the entire conference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on, some of these later games here. It's 10:30. God, time flies, man. God damn.
Yep.
Moving on, anything for Butler, Seton Hall? Anybody? I have nothing. Butler fucking just steals my money every move, whether I fade him or back him. I want no part.
Is that line right?
It's still +5. Let me double check.
Damn, it opened up at +2.5.
Yeah, it's
really
5 and 5.
Oh, that's 5 last night, and it hasn't moved.
It's 4.5 to 5.5 if you're shopping around.
Seton Hall 2.5 would have been fucking awesome. I love seeing them.
Yeah, I wonder why. Damn, I mean, yeah, initially I was thinking like, damn, this line is really short for no reason. Butler might be getting an outright winner here. And now all of a sudden the line's at 4.5, 5. And shit, I don't know. I don't know.
So
Yeah, I'm staying away. I'm off this game.
Butler just steals coin. That's all they do. That's all they fucking do. I hate that team. Another game that this may have been the game that I left off the card first before Arizona State, but Mississippi State is laying 2.5 at LSU. LSU fresh off the buzzer beater win. Who the fuck was that? Drawing a blank. Kentucky. They beat who the hell did they beat prior to
South Carolina.
South Carolina, back-to-back ranked wins. They got home. They did the damn thing. Now they're catching 2.5 points against a Mississippi State team. Again, Mississippi State's not as good on the road, but you want to talk about a letdown spot?
So obvious.
This is it. I mean, Mississippi State's gonna smack them. I mean, if you look at the last game, it was a 11-point win for Mississippi. That was last year, so we're not gonna really factor that in. But he's been playing good. Covering the last 3, winning the last 2, 2-point loss at Florida, but Mississippi State's been rolling. 12-point win, 4 against Arkansas, 24-8, covering 3 of the last 4 too. I feel like they're just this is the spot. The LSU coming off of the that court storm was something. Angel Reese was there, the women's team was there, the coaches taking selfies with people, like they celebrated. And good win, and they deserve to. But this is a game where they're flat. Maybe a Mississippi State first half, just punch LSU in the mouth, and then up 7 or 8 at halftime, and make them figure it out. But yeah, I like Mississippi State here. I play full game over first half, but I don't hate that first half angle either.
I'm with you. Yeah, I think the Bulldogs are the favorites for a reason, especially after LSU just pulled off 2. You said it, ranked wins that against teams that are catching a lot of hype, and especially in both of them were buzzer beaters too. Like the South Carolina one was within the last 10 seconds they hit that shot, and then Kentucky was in the last I think at the buzzer, like time actually expired in that one. So if you come off 2 buzzer beaters and you're not that great of a team, and then all of a sudden you're playing a team that can punch you in the mouth like Mississippi State can, where they will literally try to win this game by only scoring 55. Yeah.
They take pride in winning ugly, so this is their spot. But LSU won their last 2. Florida was a 2-point loss on the road, but prior to that, they'd lost 5 of their last 6. And they weren't very competitive in any of those games. So they're due to regress back to their means here. So fuck it, add Mississippi State, fucking put her on the card, and Arizona State. Fuck it, we're adding 2, Arizona State and Mississippi State. Get some late ads here.
Is it a whiskey box or something?
Yeah, it's a Booker's. I drank the bottle. It's somewhere around here, but it's a nice little case.
Mm-hmm.
Aesthetic.
I like that. Yeah.
Hell yeah! Fucking, you deserve it on the Saturday.
Oh yeah, I got a bottle of Oban ready to go today, and I'm just ready to post up and bet some ball.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm more of a just grab a couple fucking Coors Lights and sit.
Yeah. Hey, I got my pregame and Busch Light on deck too. So, and then
staple.
And then when it hits like the dark hour and the sun starts to go down, you pour a glass of whiskey and you feel like a real man.
Are you a giant ice cube guy? One of the giant circular ice cubes that you put in?
I do have those molders. I will say I do have those molders. I usually stay away. When it's a nice whiskey, I don't put any ice in there.
There you go. Getting down to the late slates here. I have a play in the 9:00 window. If anybody wants to touch on the Utah-Colorado game before, if they have anything, otherwise I'll just hop into 9:00.
I just have a mid-major at the 8 o'clock slate.
Lay it on us.
Eastern Washington playing Northern Colorado. Two of my favorite over teams playing each other, so I'm taking the over. I think I got it at 161. Both fast-paced teams. Both defenses are not very good. Northern Colorado is very good three-point shooting team, a very good interior offense as well, and the same applies to Eastern Washington. But Northern Colorado defensively, bottom 340 in three-point defense. Their interior defense lets up 52% of the shots. Eastern Washington, both bottom 250 in 3.2 point offense or defense, excuse me. So I think we're just going to get a lot of scoring here, not a lot of defense. Two fast-paced teams that can definitely run up the score. I think both three of us have seen Eastern Washington play, and we've been on them a few times. But yeah, I think this thing is going to be a fast-paced team or fast-paced game. A lot of offense, no defense. So I'll take 161. Last time they played, it ended at 151. But
yeah, and to your point, like these are two elevation teams, and so the Northern Colorado, Greeley, Colorado elevation factor that usually bodies teams in the second half, like isn't going to be there. Like Eastern Washington is going to be comfortable throughout, and yeah, I do like that over. I'll probably ride that with you just because one, I want to watch that game. It's one of my favorite games of the entire day. We can watch it on ESPN Plus more than likely as long as the stream cooperates, and so yeah, I'm right there with you. I think this is a game that the winner is going to be in the 90s.
Yeah. It's shocking. I hate this conference. I hate watching Big Sky teams, but these two teams I bet on, I think I've bet on almost half of Northern Colorado's games because I think a lot of the Big Sky teams are pretty slow paced teams like Idaho, Sacramento State, Portland State, like these guys. So it falls into that system I was talking about earlier with Tyler, where Northern Colorado plays super, super fast. So a lot of these overs tend to just fall into a system play for me. So yeah, I've actually watched an unfortunate amount of Northern Colorado basketball. But yeah, I think, like you said, I think this is going to be like a 90 to 84 or 85 type of game. I think 161 is a good number for it. So yeah, that's my last play of the day.
I'll keep it real too. Like if you did an audit on my sports betting history over the past 5 years, where I've really been just kind of diving in huge to college basketball, Northern Colorado is my biggest moneymaker. Without question. I know it's going to sound crazy, but when I bet on them, I'm probably hitting above 70%. And they haven't been a great win-loss record team over the years, but at home, they are such a factor there, and they're just reliable. They have a good program. So I love this Northern Colorado bunch.
Hell yeah. Man, I thought about playing Eastern Washington +1 coming off of the back-to-back losses, but these two teams always play each other tough. North Colorado is playing very well right now. But to Nick's point about the over, the last 10, the over is 7-3 in these two teams. Eastern Washington has gone over in 4 of their last 5. Northern Colorado is 2-1-1 in their last 4. They have a push, which is odd to see on a total, but both these teams have been playing faster pace and a lot of points, so don't hate that. I can't bet totals. Totals always fuck me, and it's just I don't know, so very stressful for me. So I don't bet totals unless it's like a team total. But yeah, these two teams they score, and they score a lot. I mean, 159 over, 154, 155. 157, 158. These teams when they go at it offensively. So, yeah, buckets score today.
Both teams are also 16-9 to the over on the season, just overall. So it's hitting their games are hitting at 64% to the over. So they like to score.
Yes, they do.
Well, boys, I think maybe we should do a rapid fire so we can do the parlay portion. Yeah, we'll have to actually, because there's an early one that I want to get in with that parlay.
Perfect. Anything? I'll get to my last play. Utah, Colorado. That's about the last kind of quote big game of the day. Nothing. Perfect. No. Me neither. My last play of the day is Pepperdine +14 at San Francisco. Fucking nasty. Yes, I'm betting Pepperdine. But Pepperdine has been playing well lately. They've won 3 of their last 4, covering 4 of their last 5. They got obliterated against St. Mary's. It's, I'm not even going to hold that against them. But Pacific, they won by 19. Portland, they won by 21 their last game. Last 2, they beat LMU by 9. They played San Francisco February 8th at home. It was a 74-80 game. Pepperdine didn't cover. But San Francisco, they've 6-1 in their last 7, but they've only covered 2 of those games. And they do have Gonzaga on deck. So they have their biggest game of the year on deck. It's a revenge game. They lost by 5, playing them earlier this year. And Pepperdine against these guys, it's always a close game. In San Francisco, it was an 8-point game. They did get blown out 2 years ago, 105-61, but otherwise, W at San Francisco, 2-point loss. W at San Francisco, 12-point loss, 7-point loss, 8-point. So they keep this game tight, and they always play them tight. And I did have some. I'm not going to get into the numbers, but they play each other tight, and this is the biggest game for them. San Francisco's got Gonzaga on deck, so get Pepperdine Waves to crash and get the cover here.
Love it.
All right. Getting to the parlay. First piece we do have is Tyler is playing Kentucky money line, so we've got leg 1 secured in here.
Yep, and I've got FanDuel, BetMGM, and DraftKings all pulled up with mine and Tyler's plays plugged in already, and
Perfect.
So we'll be able to figure out exactly.
Yeah. What are you rolling with?
Yeah, what's your leg?
Let's take right out the fucking gate, boys. I'll be the first leg to see what the result is. I'll bite the bullet. Give me Baylor plus 2.5.
Okay.
I don't want to do the money line. I'm staying away from the money line just because 2 points is a lot of points when you're talking about how Houston plays ball. And I want some backdoor ability here, especially just being the one that bites the bullet first. So give me Baylor plus 2.5. I think they're going to win this thing outright, but let's play it a little bit cautious when we're getting a good price for it.
Love it.
Sounds good. I'm going with Oklahoma State -1. Last at Oklahoma, a fuck you spot. They've been playing very well lately. So give me Oklahoma State line at IBA Arena for a little. What the fuck is their rivalry? Fuck.
Don't say that, dude. It's Bedlam. Don't say the other one.
Right when I started, I was like, "That's not it. That's Texas Tech."
You're not allowed to say it anyway, dude. We're gonna get canceled.
Damn it, Trev. Fuck.
Just disregard that. That was a joke.
There go the sponsors, man. Fuck.
I'm back to square one. So
all right. I think mine's gonna be Drake money line. I think that's a good one to take.
Drake bar for bar. All right, let me get that plugged in.
Pains me to place this because your fucking leg is opposite of my actual play. But I guess I'll do it anyway.
All right, I got them all plugged in here. Let's see. The best option is FanDuel plus 957.
Ooh. Do you have Rivers?
I do not. I got banned on there. Fucking
Fuck.
assholes.
I have
you said plus 957.
Plus 957. What do you got in Rivers?
Rivers with Baylor spread, Kentucky money line, Oklahoma State money line, and Drake money line at 969.
Ooh, nice.
So it's not much. It's
okay.
It's
I mean,
14
yeah.
fucking cents, but if you guys really need those 14 cents, Rivers.
Fuck yeah, dude. Hold on, let me.
I think Rivers had the best payout last week too, or was that 365? One of the two.
Yeah, one of them, man. My big Rivers fan.
I'm 1.5 now too.
I wish they'd give me a college basketball boost. These rats.
Oh shit! What did I just say for Drake?
I think you said 957. It was.
Yeah,
dude. All of a sudden, let's see. Kentucky money line got a little bit cheaper. Just out of nowhere, plus 979 now.
There you go. Okay,
there we go.
Is the winner.
Yep, look at that, dude. I literally just had it in my bet slip, and all of a sudden I see the green arrow going up. I'm like, what's going on here?
There you go.
Hell
Fuck-
yeah, that's
Fuck
fucking
you,
awesome.
Rivers.
What book was that, Rob?
FanDuel.
FanDuel.
FanDuel. Got you. All right.
I should have some.
The Saturday.
Oh my god, I do have money in FanDuel. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Let's bounce this shit. I'm throwing for people who follow like my unit system, half unit. I don't know what these boys want you. What are you guys throwing on here?
I went full unit the first week just because
Sheesh.
we hit it, and so I've been going half unit since. I'm like, all right, I will be money with the parlays no matter what if we lose everything out. But man, hand up, last week that was bad. Hawaii sold that fucking double-digit lead in the second half. Holy shit,
Dude! No, I was watching that. I thought my Georgia Tech money line was gonna be the one that ate shit, but then they righted the ship in like the last 10, 15 minutes or so, and then Hawaii looked so good. I was feeling so good about that. Shit, yeah. And then you had the over, Nick, that initially was looking awful, and then they like turned
it was the
up.
Northern Colorado one, right? Was it that? Again?
Oh yeah.
That first half was dog. That first half was dog shit. I thought it was so dead. Yeah, and then they turned it on the second half. I'm telling you, dude, I have an addiction to that fucking team. I hate that conference. That's my least favorite conference to ever watch games and bet on games because they fucking all suck. But Northern Colorado and Eastern Washington this season are actually pretty good. And like I said, they just keep falling into the system. So I've watched legit probably like 10 Northern Colorado games this year. Which is disturbing.
I love that team.
They're good. They're fucking good. I think they're 17-10, right? They're good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They have a chance to win this conference
for sure. I would assume it's them in Eastern Washington, right? Weber State.
Yes. And also Montana's hanging around there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think, dude, but off topic, Montana State offense is very good. But when I look at them on KenPom, for some reason, like their adjusted efficiency is like bottom 250. But when you look at their offense, it's like almost top 100 in every category. So I don't know how their adjusted like efficiency is. Just seems like it's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not doubting Mr. Kenneth Pomeroy, but it just doesn't seem right.
Oh,
something doesn't seem right.
Oh shit. Great show, guys. We'll go over that plays one more time, I guess. Actually, this is what I forgot. Here is the narrative / giveaway tracker. Shout out at Broad Street Cappers on Twitter. I saw this. Stonehill Senior Day. What's that?
Yeah, Buzz. That's Broad Street Cappers.
No, well, shout out him for this. I believe it was Chad asking about Stonehill earlier. Senior Day too. There you go. North Dakota State. That's a gold out game. Miami of Ohio is raising money for a local cancer organization. They'll have a carnival, silent auction, and post-game autographs. UCF free T-shirts. As if we needed more for UCF today. We get free T-shirts. And then UTEP throwback jerseys and a public unveiling of a statue for legendary coach Don Haskins. So a couple of angles there, if you believe in that stuff. And going over the plays we got left, or we're going for. Starting at 11 a.m., I have Baylor plus 2.5, Missouri plus 5. 1 o'clock, I have Kansas State plus 1.5, and Wake Forest minus 2. 3 o'clock, I have UCF plus 1 and Oklahoma State minus 1. 6, lock battle and Nick here. I have Middle Tennessee plus 3.5. And then 9 p.m., Pepperdine plus 14. That'll probably be on Hawaii just because I'm a DGen tonight at midnight.
You fucking love that Hawaii team, man.
I
love Hawaii, dude.
Fucking love Hawaii so much. I don't know why, but I'm a dick.
Oh man, yeah. So I'll just go top to bottom of mine. I got Baylor out the gate plus 2.5, William Mary plus 8.5, North Dakota State minus 1.5, Wake Forest minus 2.5, Alabama A&M. We didn't talk about that game. We all need to, but plus 5. I got those boys. UCF plus 1, Oklahoma State money line, Yale minus 6, Brown plus 12.5, Drake minus 3, Georgia plus 8. Texas A&M plus 10.5 / money line, and then Arizona State plus 5.5 / money line.
Yep. In order for me as well, my plays don't start till 1 or 2 o'clock, so you guys got some time. I have Florida team total over 83.5 versus Vandy. Kennesaw Stetson over 160.5. Illinois minus 9.5. Cincy plus 5.5. The South Carolina Ole Miss over 137.5. The disgusting North Carolina Virginia over 130. Fighting Trev with Oklahoma plus 1.5. Stephen F. Austin plus 4 at Utah Valley, which we didn't get to touch on, but again, don't really need to. Drake money line, parlay pick. Texas plus 8.5. Western Kentucky minus 3.5 at Middle Tennessee versus Trevor again, and then Eastern Washington, Northern Colorado over 161.
Love it.
Beautiful. And then the Saturday we got for this week, we got Kentucky money line, Baylor plus 2.5, Oklahoma State -1, and Drake money line plus 979 on FanDuel. That shit already cashed. Let's go.
Yep,
Love
I just spent the winnings already.
Hell yeah. I already spent the win. Hell yeah. Well, this is again another successful Saturday. We appreciate everybody popping in. Tyler for popping in, Sandy, the Lions crew, Chad G, Elliot, who Catfish was in here. We appreciate you guys for popping by. Will Massa, anyone else I'm forgetting? Oh, Clark, Clark, you're the man. Shout out you guys for popping in. We appreciate you guys popping in here every Saturday with us and rocking. Let's cash that parlay today. And I don't think anybody's losing any bets today. Well, Nick's losing too, but I don't think we're winning.
We can at least split, man. We can go 1-1.
Hey,
All right,
we're hitting the parlay, and we're feeling great about it.
Fuck yeah, we are. Let's have ourselves a Saturday. We're gonna kill the last February until we get to March, and it gets it's fucking real.
Most conference tourney time.
Hell yeah. Take like we said earlier, get that PTO in. You're gonna regret it.
Yeah. For real.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Thanks again, and we will see you sometime this week and next week for sure.
Sure.